أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين ولا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين وحجته في العالمين روح وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه فداء واللعن الدائم على أعدائهم وغاصبي حقوقهم وجاحدي مناقبهم ومنكري فضائلهم من الآن إلى أبد الآبدين. My very esteemed viewers, Assalamu alaikum. May peace of Allah be upon you. Thank you for watching this show, and I welcome you to my program. Inshallah, in this program today, we will illuminate our hearts and our lives and our homes with the teachings of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, with their pure words, and we are going to rejuvenate ourselves spiritually with the words of wisdom and spirituality and guidance from the holy Imams alayhimus salatu wassalam. And this holy month and this blessed month, and with a hadith regarding the Shahr of Ramadan, the month of Ramadan. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Ya Mahmudu bihaqqi Muhammad. ويا عالي بحق علي ويا فاطر السماوات والأرضين بحق فاطمة الزهراء ويا محسن بحق الحسن ويا قديم الإحسان بحق الحسين نسألك ونقسمك صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل لوليك الفرج اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم الشريف. Okay, one moment please. So I'm going to share my screen from Tafsir al-Burhan, a tafsir from a book of tafsir that contains a hadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salatu wassalam regarding the various verses of the noble Quran. Here we go, it's ready. تفسير البرهان لسيد هاشم البحراني رحمه الله, volume number 1. We are going to delve into the verse of the noble Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 185. Here we go. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان صدق الله العلي العظيم. The month of Ramadan is that in which Quran was revealed. So Quran was revealed in the span of 23 years to our holy messenger sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. However, first it was revealed within the heavens from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala into the fourth heaven or Bayt al-Ma'mur. It's not in my mind now, but it will come in the hadith. So in Laylatul Qadr, in the month of Ramadan, Quran was revealed at once on one occasion, and that refers to the time when Quran was revealed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was bestowed, it was sent down to the fourth heaven. And then on various occasions, Quran was revealed to our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It was conveyed to him and was sent down to him within the 23 years of his apostleship. Hudan linnas, this Quran is verily guidance for people. Wa bayinat, and this Quran you will find, and this Quran is bayinat. Quran is clear indications, clear reasoning, clear proofs that consists of guidance and Furqan, and literally it means something that helps you distinguish, something that helps you make distinction. However, Furqan are those verses of the noble Quran, the denotation of which, the meaning of which are very clear, and there is no ambiguity in their denotation and their meaning. Okay. Our master Al-Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, إن الشهور عند الله 12 شهرا في كتاب الله يوم خلق السماوات والأرض. The number of months before the Lord, the day He created the heavens and the earth, the number of months is 12. There are 12 months. فغرة الشهور, the best of the months, the most luminous, the most majestic, the most spiritually uplifting of the months is Shahrullah, is the month of Allah. Azza dhikruh, His mention, His name be exalted. فغرة الشهور, the best, the most spiritually uplifting of these months, the most luminous, the brightest of these months, the most shining of them is the month of Ramadan, the month of Allah. وهو شهر رمضان, the month of the Lord, the month of God, the divine month is the month of Ramadan. وقلب شهر رمضان ليلة القدر. And the most majestic moment in the month of Ramadan, the heart and soul of the month of Ramadan, is Laylatul Qadr, the night of the decree. And in the future nights, inshallah, tabaraka wa ta'ala, if Allah gives me the ability in the occasion, I will delve more deeply into Laylatul Qadr, and I will present to you a hadith regarding Laylatul Qadr. وَنَزَلَ الْقُرْآنُ فِي أَوَّلِ لَيْلَةٍ مِّن شَهْرِ رَمَضَانَ. The Noble Quran was sent down in the first night of the noble month of Ramadan. فَاسْتَقْبِلِ الشَّهْرَ بِالْقُرْآنِ. Therefore, it is very appropriate for you, our Shia, to welcome the month of Ramadan with recitation of Quran, with upholding Quran, and with respecting Quran, and to read Quran and recite Quran, and to ponder upon its meanings. Please consider this hadith here, hadith number 4. The narrator says that he asked Al-Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam regarding عن القرآن والفرقان أهما شيئان أو شيء واحد. I asked him about Quran and Furqan. Are they two distinct things or they're one thing? He said, Al-Qur'anu jumlatul kitab. Quran is the entirety of book. The entirety of the divine book is Quran. وَالْفُرْقَانُ الْمُحْكَمُ الْوَاجِبُ الْعَمَلِ بِهِ. However, Furqan is those sections of the Quran, the indication, the denotation, the meaning of which are very clear, and they pertain to actions, and those verses that are incumbent upon us to follow in action. Okay. I thank brothers who participate and super chat. It's very kind of you. Okay. Our Lord Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam says, لا يسأل الله عز وجل عبدا عن صلاة بعد الفريضة. If you perform your obligatory prayers properly, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not hold you for questioning regarding your prayers, regarding salah, regarding namaz, as long as you perform the obligatory prayers. وَلَا عَنْ صَدَقَةٍ بَعْدَ الزَّكَاةِ. Nor Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold you to question you regarding paying alms if you pay your zakah. Okay. وَلَا عَنْ صَوْمٍ بَعْدَ شَهْرِ رَمَضَانِ. And if you fast during the month of Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not hold you for questioning regarding the month of regarding fasting. So the only obligatory fast is the fast of Ramadan. The following verse in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number, but rather it's the same verse, but the continuation of the verse goes as follows. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم. فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم. What does this verse mean? Okay, there's quite a bit of disagreement regarding translation of this verse. However, according to Ahlul Bayt alayhim assalam, how would you translate this verse? فَمَنِ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمْ. Whoever witnesses, whoever observes the arrival of the month of Ramadan at his hometown, at where he resides, فَلْيَصُمْ, then he must fast during the month of Ramadan. What does it mean? Then it means you cannot travel. That's what it means. So it does not simply mean if you observe the month of Ramadan, you should fast. No. If you observe the advent, the coming of month of Ramadan at your place of residence, where you reside, then you must fast it. So it means that you cannot travel after the coming of month of Ramadan. And traveling has been greatly discouraged against during the month of Ramadan until the 23rd. After the 23rd of Ramadan, you can travel. But before the 23rd, you're not allowed to travel unless it's very urgent, if it's very pressing, if somebody is live in danger, and the examples will come in the hadith. Ubayd ibn Zurara says that I said to Al-Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam regarding this verse, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. Whoever amongst you observes this month, the coming of this month, قَالَ مَا أَبْيَنَهَا. The Imam alayhi salatu wasalam said, this verse is so clear. It's so abundantly clear and manifest in its meaning. مَنْ شَهِدَ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْهُ وَمَنْ سَافَرَ فَلَا يَصُمْهُ. It means a person who observes the coming of the month of Ramadan at his place of residence, where he resides, at his town, at his village, he must fast during the month of Ramadan. And وَمَنْ سَافَرَ, and if a person is in journey, he's traveling while the month of Ramadan is coming, so he's already traveling, then he cannot fast. Al-Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, إِذَا دَخَلَ شَهْرُ رَمَضَانَ فَلِلَّهِ فِيهِ شَرْطٌ. When the month of Ramadan arrives, there's an instruction from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a requirement, an obligation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has said, Allah has said, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْهُ. Whoever from you observes the coming of the month of Ramadan at his hometown, at his place of residence, then he must keep fast. فَلَيْسَ لِلرَّجُلِ إِذَا دَخَلَ شَهْرُ رَمَضَانَ أَنْ يَخْرُجْ. Therefore, it's not permissible, even for ziyarah of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, for this pilgrimage to the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. It's not. Hadith say that it's better that you stay home and observe fast rather than traveling to visit the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, except after the 23rd. Okay. فَلَيْسَ لِلرَّجُلِ. It's not permissible for a person when the month of Ramadan enters أَنْ يَخْرُجَ, that he should exit for a journey, for a travel. إِلَّا فِي حَجٍّ, except if he's going for Hajj. So in the previous times, because people had to prepare early and they had to undertake months of journey, months of travel in order to reach Mecca. So sometimes they had to leave in Ramadan in order to reach Mecca in Dhul Hijjah, before Dhul Hijjah. So except if you're going for Hajj, أو عمرة, or you're going for Umrah, أو مال يخاف تلفه, or you have some property that you are afraid it will be destroyed. You're afraid of losing a considerable amount of wealth if you don't travel. أو أخ يخاف هلاكه, or there's a brother in Iman who would be at great disadvantage, or who would be at great peril if you should not travel to go to him to help him. So except in these occasions, you are not allowed to travel in the month of Ramadan. وَلَيْسَ لَهُ أَن يَخْرُجَ فِي إِتْلَافِ مَالِ أَخِيهِ. It is not permissible for a person to undertake a journey in the month of Ramadan or otherwise in order to harm someone, for the purpose of causing monetary, financial harm to his brother. فإذا مضت ليلة 23 فليخرج حيث شاء. But when the night of the 23rd passes, so on the day of 23rd, on the day of 24th, on these days, then you can go anywhere you want. And then, you, of course, you cannot fast. قال قلت له. This verse is about visiting the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. The Imam alayhi salam says, Al-Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, it's better that you stay home and not visit the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam if that results, visiting the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam requires you to take a journey and break your fast. Okay, let me recite to you and read to you and share with you some ahadith regarding etiquettes of fasting. This is the book of Al-Kafi al-Sharif, volume number 4, page number 87, Kitab al-Siyam, the book of fasting, Adab al-Sa'im, the etiquette of a person who fasts. قال Abu Abdullah alayhi salam, said our master Al-Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, إذا صمت فليصم سمعك وبصرك وشعرك وجلدك. When you fast, fasting is not merely about an act of abstination from eating and drinking. إذا صمت, when you fast, do not be under this wrong impression that fasting is merely the name of abstination from eating and drinking. No. فليصم, also along with your mouth and your belly, these organs in your body must also fast. سمعك, your hearing, your ear must keep fast, must fast. وبصرك, so here the ear from listening to music. So most of musics are haram, as you would know, because they use most of musical instruments are haram, and most musics that you hear are haram. But that's another discussion for another day. And not only music, but also vile words against Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, backbiting, lies, quarrels. فَلْيَصُمْ سَمْعُكَ, so your hearing also must fast. وَبَصَرُكَ, and your sight, your eyes must also fast. There are scenes of debauchery, scenes of sights of tempting nature that you must not see them. So your eyes must also fast. وَشَعَرُكَ وَجَلْدُكَ, and your hair, and your skin. So your hair, your skin should not touch that which is not allowed for you to touch, such as a woman who is not your wife, or a man who is not your husband. وَعَدَّدَ أَشْيَاءَ غَيْرَ هَذَا, and then Imam alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned other things also, other bodily organs also. وقال, and he said, لا يكون يوم صومك كيوم فطرك. He said, you must observe, you must pay close attention that the day of your fast must not be like the day when you do not fast. So when you fast, so you must be in utter and complete and abject obedience and devotion and submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and observe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a witness, as a watcher over you. So all your actions must be in accord to Allah's laws. Okay. Next hadith. From our Lord, our Master, Al-Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, he said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله لجابر بن عبد الله. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said the following words to Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari, who was a very cherished and respectable Sahabi, and he was Shia. Ya Jabiru hadha shahru Ramadan. O Jabir, this is the month of Ramadan, the holy month of Ramadan. Man sama naharahu wa qama wirdam min laylih. A person who fasts during the days of month of Ramadan, and he engages in prayers in a portion of its nights. So it's not incumbent upon you to pray the nights of Ramadan in their entirety. However, a certain portion, a few hours, a few moments of the nights of Ramadan, you must engage in prayers. You must undertake prayers, salah, namaz. وَعَفَّ بَطْنَهُ وَفَرْجَهُ. And a person who keeps pure his belly and his loins, his private parts. He keeps his loins and his belly pure, meaning that he does not engage in during the month of Ramadan in those actions that are sexually not sanctioned and not allowed. And also he does not consume food that is or drinks that are haram. وَكَفَّ لِسَانَهُ. And if a person, he bridles and he controls his tongue. So he is careful that his tongue does not speak words that are not permissible to be spoken. He does not hurt other people with his words. Such a person, so these qualities, he keeps fast during the month of Ramadan, during the days. At nights, a portion of the night, he performs salah, he performs namaz. And then he keeps his belly and his sexual organs clean during the month of Ramadan. And then he controls his tongue. What happens? خَرَجَ مِنْ ذُنُوبِهِ كَخُرُوجِهِ مِنَ الشَّهْرِ. When he gets out of the month of Ramadan, when the month of Ramadan passes, is there any month of Ramadan? Of course not. Ramadan is 29 days or 30 days. After 29 days or 30 days, there's no more month of Ramadan. So when you exit from the month of Ramadan, in other words, when the month of Ramadan passes, there's no more month of Ramadan, right? Just like that, you get out of all of your sins. If you keep up with these conditions, with these requirements that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam has underscored in this hadith, fasting during the days of the month of Ramadan, praying a certain hour, a few hours, or a few moments during the nights of the month of Ramadan, and keeping your belly pure, and abstention from any unwarranted sexual activity, and to control your tongue, not to hurt other people, not to backbite, not to lie, not to cheat, not to say anything that's untrue with your tongue. These 5 things, if you respect them and if you observe them, then when the month of Ramadan ends, also end all of your previous sins, and you're forgiven. خَرَجَ مِنْ ذُنُوبِهِ. Such a person comes out of his sins just as he comes out of the month of Ramadan. فَقَالَ جَابِرٌ. Jabir replied, يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ مَا أَحْسَنَ هَذَا الْحَدِيثِ. He said, يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. How beautiful is this hadith. How beautiful is this discourse, this glad tiding that you have given us. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Ya Jabir, وَمَا أَشَدَّ هَذِهِ الشُّرُوطِ. Jabir, on the other hand, how strict, how serious, how demanding, how exacting are these requirements, these 5 requirements. So if you try, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the beginning of the month of Ramadan, and if you make a resolute decision, inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala, that you will observe these instructions of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam at the end of the month of Ramadan, you would be cleansed from your sins just as you were born from the womb of your mother. Next hadith. An Abi Abdullah alayhi salam, our master, Al-Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, Inna as-siyama laysa min at-ta'ami wash-sharabi wahdah. My Shias, pay attention that fast is not only abstination from food and drinks. No, you have not understood fasting if you think that only not eating and not drinking, that is fasting. No. ثم قال, he said, قالت مريم إني نذرت للرحمن صوما أي صوما صمتا. Mary, the mother of Jesus, alayhim as-salam, said that I've undertaken an oath in order to please the Lord, to please the Rahman, the all-merciful Lord, to fast and not speak any words. So to observe this fast of silence, not to speak any words, and to be silent and not to speak to anybody. So in the previous Sharia, and the Sharia of Musa alayhi salam, which Mary observed and Mary followed, and their Sharia, it was allowed for a person to undertake fast of silence. But in the Sharia of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that's not allowed. So you cannot fast against speaking, against speech. However, fasting requires you not to speak any vile words, not to backbite, and not to engage in any quarrels and arguments. And if somebody swears at you, not to swear back at him. So Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, فَإِذَا صُمْتُمْ فَاحْفَظُوا أَلْسِنَتَكُمْ. When you fast, safeguard your tongues. Control your tongues, bridle your tongues. So make sure that you don't speak any word, any sentence, anything that is going to invalidate your fast. وَغُضُّوا أَبْصَارَكُمْ. And withhold your gaze from tempting scenes. Any sight that's tempting, that's sexually attractive, put down your gaze. Cast down your gaze. وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا. And abstain from quarrels, from arguments. وَلَا تَحَاسَدُوا. And do not engage in any envious acts. So keep yourself clean against quarrels and against discord and against envy. وَلَا تَحَاسَدُوا. قال وسمع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم امرأة تسب جارية لها. There was a woman who had a female servant. So there was a female servant that a woman had. She was a slave lady. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam heard that this woman was swearing at that female servant, at that slave. وَهِيَ صَائِمَةٌ. And that lady who was cursing, who was swearing at that slave lady, she herself was fasting. فَدَعَى رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ وَسَلَّمَ بِطَعَامٍ. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam summoned some food. فَقَالَ لَهَا. And said to her, Kuli. And said to that woman, and I think this woman was Aisha, said to her, eat. She said, أني صائمة. She said, I'm fasting. فقال كيف تكونين صائمة وقد سبيتي جاريتك. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, how is it possible that you are fasting and I just saw you, that you are cursing and swearing at your slave woman? إن الصوم ليس من الطعام والشراب. Fasting is not only against drinking and eating. قال أبو عبد الله عليه السلام, the narrator says that Imam Sadiq عليه السلام said, إذا صمت فليصم سمعك وبصرك من الحرام. When you fast, your ear and your eye must also fast against haram things. والقبيح, and against false things. قبيح, against anything that's unseemly, unbecoming, inappropriate. ودع المراء, and you must abstain from quarrels, from arguments in the month of Ramadan, while you're fasting. وأذى الخادم, and it's very important for you not to cause discomfort for those people who work for you. So if you're a blessed person, as far as the worldly wealth is concerned, and you have employees who work for you, if you're fasting, make sure that you not require anything from your employees that is causing them discomfort, that is causing them annoyance. So that's very important. Those who are under you, working for you, you cannot cause adhiya to them or do something that disrespects them. وَلْيَكُنْ عَلَيْكَ وِقَارُ الصِّيَامِ. And it's very important for you when you're fasting that you are cloaked in the dignity of fasting. So you should be dignified, your conduct should be dignified, as if you're wearing a cloak of dignity. And that cloak of dignity is fast itself. وَلَا تَجْعَلْ يَوْمَ صَوْمِكَ كَيَوْمِ فِطْرِكَ. And it's very important that you do not, the day when you're fasting and those days you're not fasting, they should not be the same. They should not be likewise. The day that you're fasting should be very different from the days that you're not fasting. Your conduct, your actions, the way you spend each moment. So as you know, during the year, it's recommended that we fast 3 days in the month. 2 Thursdays and 1 Wednesday, or أيام التشريق. عفوا, not أيام التشريق, أيام البيض. أيام البيض means 13th, 14th, and 15th of every month that we should fast. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam said, إذا صام أحدكم الثلاثة الأيام من الشهر فلا يجادلن أحدا. When a person fasts those 3 recommended days during the month, it's very important that he does not engage in any argument with any person. ولا يجهل, and he should not carry out any action that's actions of folly, actions of stupid actions that transgress upon other people's rights. ولا يسرع إلى الحلف والأيمان, and he should not be quick to take oaths by Allah when he's fasting. والأيمان بالله فإن جهل عليه أحد فليتحمل. And if a person makes an error or transgresses upon your rights or insults you or does something against you, you should forbear, you should tolerate, and you should not go for vengeance. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam narrates on the authority of his forefathers from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that he said, ما من عبد صالح يشتم فيقول. Any person who is virtuous and someone comes and swears at him, uses expletive against him, right? ما من عبد, there's not a person who's virtuous and he is made the object of profanity and he's sworn upon. But he replies this way, إني صائم, I'm fasting. سلام عليك, may peace be unto you, I'm fasting. He swears at you and you reply, I'm fasting, may peace be unto you. لا أشتمك كما شتمتني, I'm not going to swear at you like you swore at me. I'm not going to do that. When he does this, قال الرب تبارك وتعالى, Allah is watching, Allah is observing, Allah is seeing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, استجار عبدي بالصوم من شر عبدي. Look, my servant, this person, he has sought refuge into fasting from the vile actions of another person, from the malice of this person who was swearing at him. He has sought refuge into what? Into fast. فَقَدْ أَجَرْتُهُ مِنَ النَّارِ. Verily, I have granted him protection. I have delivered him from the fire of my wrath, the fire of hell. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, قال أمير المؤمنين صلوات الله عليه عليكم في شهر رمضان بكثرة الاستغفار والدعاء. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, the commander of the faithful alayhi salam said, عليكم في شهر رمضان. It's incumbent upon you, it's obligatory for you, and during the month of Ramadan, to seek forgiveness of the Lord abundantly, to do copious acts of istighfar, repetitive, abundant istighfar. Istighfar means to seek forgiveness. What dua, and supplication, to invoke Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to beseech Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is obligatory to perform during the month of Ramadan. Istighfar, and not just doing istighfar, kathratul istighfar, abundant istighfar, abundant beseeching of forgiveness, abundant repentance. What dua, and copious amount of prayers and invocation and beseeching the Lord. فَأَمَّا الدُّعَاءُ فَيُدْفَعُ بِهِ عَنْكُمُ الْبَلَى. As far as the dua is concerned, the copious amount of dua, what it does, it dispels calamity from you. It shields you against calamities in life. وَأَمَّا الْإِسْتِغْفَارُ فَيَمْحِي ذُنُوبَكُمْ. As far as istighfar is concerned, it erases your sins. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam says that his grandfather Ali ibn al-Husayn Sayyid al-Sajidin alayhi salam إذا كان شهر رمضان لم يتكلم إلا بالدعاء والتسبيح والاستغفار والتكبير. Imam Ali ibn al-Husayn alayhi salam, he was instructed by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to engage in public ta'aleem, in public tabligh of deen, because of the harsh situation during the darkest days of Bani Umayyah. So during the month of Ramadan, he wouldn't talk. All his speech was dua and tasbih, glorification of the Lord, istighfar, seeking forgiveness, wa takbir, and speaking grandeur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَإِذَا أَفْطَرَ, and at the time of his iftar, he would say this, Allahumma in shi'ta an taf'ala fa'alt. Oh my Lord, you know my needs. You know my needs. You know my situation better than me myself. And if you should desire to do good unto me, you can do good unto me. Abu Basir says that Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam said, إِنَّ الصِّيَامَ لَيْسَ مِنَ الطَّعَامِ وَالشَّرَابِ وَحْدًا. Fasting is not abstination, mere abstination from food and drinks. No. Mary has said, إِنِّي نَذَرْتُ لِلرَّحْمَنِ صَوْمًا أَيْ صَمْتًا. Mary said that I have observed for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to uphold siyam of silence. As I mentioned, please refer to there was a similar hadith to this, that siyam of silence, fast of silence, is forbidden in Islam, but it was allowed in previous sharia. But however, in Islam, you cannot speak when you're fasting anything that's wrong, anything that's inappropriate, or anything that's haram, that's forbidden. فَاحْفِظُوا أَلْسِنَتَكُمْ. Therefore, because siyam, because fasting is not only abstination from food and drinks, it's very important that you control your tongues. وَغُضُّوا أَبْصَارَكُمْ, and cast down your gaze. One moment. Okay. وَلَا تَحَاسَدُوا, and not to be envious, and not to carry out any acts out of envy for other people. وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا, and do not argue with each other, and do not quarrel with other people, and do not engage in acts of discord and arguments. فَإِنَّ الْحَسَدَ يَأْكُلُ الْإِيمَانَ كَمَا تَأْكُلُ النَّارُ الْحَطَبَ. Jealousy and envy, they eat away iman like fire eats away wood. Okay. Let's read some more hadith, okay? We almost finished this chapter. Okay, this chapter pertains to Laylatul Qadr, because Laylatul Qadr is so important, the night of decree. So if we know from now when is Laylatul Qadr, it will be very important for us to prepare, inshallah, for Laylatul Qadr. And Laylatul Qadr is so spiritually uplifting, so good, so joyful spiritually, right? Praying in Laylatul Qadr with your family and doing dua. And prayers are accepted in Laylatul Qadr. You can see this in your lives. If you do it properly, you can see it. It's one of the mu'jiza of Ahlul Bayt, miracles of Ahlul Bayt alayhim assalam, Laylatul Qadr. This chapter pertains to Laylatul Qadr. And Abi Abdullah alayhi salam says, our Lord Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, سألته عن ليلة القدر. Hassan ibn Mahran says, I asked Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam about the night of the decree, the night of power. He said, التمسها في ليلة 21 أو ليلة 23. Look for Laylatul Qadr in the night of the 21st, not the night, the eve of the 21st. The eve of the 21st of Ramadan and the eve of the 23rd of Ramadan. Abu Hamza al-Thumali says, I was in the company of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Abu Basir said to him, جُعِلْتُ فِدَاكَ اللَّيْلَةُ الَّتِي يُرْجَى فِيهَا مَا يُرْجَى. That night in which rests all our hopes, that night in which abundant amount of forgiveness and fulfillment of wishes is expected from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Which night is that? He said, في 21 أو 23. He said, in the night of the 21st, in the eve of the 21st, or in the eve of the 23rd. He said, إن لم أقوي على كلتيهما. Abu Basir said, if I'm too weak, if I cannot perform prayers on both of these nights, on the 21st as well as on the 23rd, فقال ما أيسر ليلتين فيما تطلب. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam said, no, what you expect to achieve in these two nights, what you expect to when you hope to get from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these uh, 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 praying for 2 nights is not too much. It's not very demanding of a task. قلت فربما رأينا الهلال عندنا وجاءنا من يخبرنا بخلاف ذلك من أرض أخرى. I said that sometimes it's dubious. We have cited the crescent of the month of Ramadan, for instance, let's say on Friday or on Saturday, and then news comes from another town that they have seen on it another day, one day before or one day after us, especially one day before. So now it becomes dubious. For instance, is the next or the coming Thursday the eve of the 23rd? Or Friday is the eve of the 23rd, right? It becomes dubious. The eve of the 21st, we are not sure. Is it on Saturday or is it on Sunday? So Imam alayhi salam said, ما أيسر أربع ليال تطلبها فيها. He said that Imam alayhi salam said, it's so easy to perform prayers in 4 nights. In such a situation, perform 4 nights. You should be ready because of the great blessings of these nights, not to miss them. If you're not sure that Laylatul Qadr is on Saturday or Sunday, and then the night of the 23rd likewise, then you should perform 4 nights of prayers, because that's very easy. Against what? Compared to do? Because the objective is so great, because what's to be rewarded in Laylatul Qadr is so immense, so great, so impressive, that performing prayers for 4 nights is nothing. Okay, so thank you so much. May Allah bless you all. In the coming nights, we will perform, inshallah. We'll recite to you more hadith. And thank you so much for those people who are supporting me on Super Chat. Much obliged. May Allah bless you all. I'm going to open the calls from TikTok. Okay. If anyone wants to, let me see if my operator is there, if I could open Zoom. If anyone wants to speak with me on Zoom, video callers. But I had not asked him to come, so. No, we don't have any callers on Zoom. But I can open it, right? Well, I can, sure. I'll open Zoom, the Urdu room for Zoom, if you want to come there. I'm just going to open it now. Then I can take you as a video caller. Okay. Okay, let's take some calls from TikTok.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, brother?
Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Not bad. Thank you so much.
Allah Wasab, we have some callers up, but we don't have a lot of English callers tonight. But
Okay.
we have few callers.
Let's take only English callers.
Go
okay?
ahead, John.
Yeah.
Yep.
If we don't have English callers, then
John,
we'll just end the program. No problem.
John, open your mic, please.
Hey, how are you, Mr. Allahyari?
Not bad. Where are you
Never
calling
ready.
from?
I'm calling from United States.
Thank you. How are you doing yourself?
I'm doing good, thank you. Thank you.
Good. Okay. What's happening?
I'm good, thank you. Mr. Allahyari,
Yeah.
it is very nice talking to you
Sure.
and to have a very brief discussion with you if possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I myself, I'm an atheist, but
Okay.
I have very huge respect for believers,
Okay.
for people that are practicing whatever religion they have, and it's
Okay.
perfectly their right. But I would like to make a distinction between the believers. I respect the believers that are not forcing their religion on others and on the society. That is the distinction. What I'm
Well, I don't
witnessing,
think anybody's forcing anyone right now, except in some
like,
countries, maybe some places.
yeah, I do agree. I
Yeah.
mostly agree with that, but we have like mostly Muslim countries that are doing so. So when I'm talking to a believer, the first thing I ask is whether you have it as a personal opinion, as a personal sort of for personal betterment, or you would like to have it in a society and to have it others doing what you're doing. If they are in the belief that they want others to do so, they want others to sort of be in a religious country, that's when I start to have a bit of problem. I'd like to ask you, sir, Mr. Allahyari, if what sort of a religious person are you? Do you believe in a secular
Do I do
society
what?
or in a society that is
Do I do what?
are you are you the sort of person that believes or that is supportive of a secular society or a religious sort of a country or a society?
Ah, I'm not sure what you said really.
Like,
Oh,
we have countries that
oh, oh,
religion is not
I live in
really
the United
part
States,
of
so
politics.
I legally I cannot force anyone. Okay, I cannot force
No,
anybody
I'm
to
not
do
saying it.
something he doesn't want to do. Yeah.
No, like, if imagine, I know that you're from Afghanistan and I'm from Afghanistan too. Imagine that we're both living, like, if you have the power in Afghanistan, will you like
Oh no, I'm not
have
going. I'm
it?
not going to do anybody. No, yeah, there are things that. Well, I will never have power in Afghanistan, so I've not thought about it. Okay, so I don't know. But I do not believe that I'm qualified to be leading a country in enforcing laws, and I do not consider myself ever doing that. So, if you think that I will ever
So,
be executing laws of Islam, that's not me. Okay.
so you believe Islam is only for personal betterment and for personal sort of a way, in a way, a spiritual way to do better in life spiritually. That's the only purpose of Islam.
Uh,
Or you think that Islam has something to do with the society? Like, there are people that are wanting to apply like Sharia law and stuff like that. I've seen Sharia law, and it's horrible. Like, you see people are doing stuff that are not very human.
I don't think so. I think they're very human. Sharia laws are very human, but in the context of the sins. But if they're executed inappropriately, that's something else. But for instance, if somebody is kills another person, so capital punishment is everywhere in the U.S. and and in Islam and anywhere. So I don't think what's barbaric about that.
Like
Okay.
we have
Yeah.
stuff like stoning.
So right now in the U.S., if a person robs a pizza or something, he can go in jail for years, sometimes for life in prison. Joe Biden, the ex-president in the 1990s, he signed a law. He voted for a law because he was the head of the Senate Judicial Committee, and that was 3 strikes and you're out. And people were jailed for life for stealing a pizza. Okay, I think those people would be very happy to offer their hands, cut off my hands and let me go. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison. So I think the judicial system in the world today, especially the criminal justice system, is very, very needs reform, and they don't know what to do and how to carry out criminal justice. Jails are full of criminals, and jails have turned into universities where more criminals are trained, and people who get out of jail, they become even further hardened criminals. And it does not, for a lot of people, it does not serve as a place to reform. and the cost for the society to maintain these huge jails, and the price that it exacts from the family of a person, the daughters, the sons, the wife of a person who is jailed for 10, 15 years. That's a huge price to pay. I think personally, to cane a person, to lash a person, that's much better, and it works, than put him in jail for 20, 30 years and providing food and healthcare, and he's doing nothing else there, and he's not, his family is suffering and his life is gone. And that's terrible. So I think Sharia laws are very, very wise, and they will really work. However, who carries out these laws, right? These laws are carried in the Islamic world with injustice, with discrimination, with a lot of times with ethnic and racial prejudice. That's something else. But laws by themselves, they are very, very, I think they're perfect for the society. Yeah. Okay. Are you there,
You
John?
got me there. You got me there. I was really surprised to hear that answer. Really surprised. Like we have civil rights. We have we're civil people. There are things that are not very necessary to do, like cutting off hands, to stone a person, or to like whip a person. I think those things are barbaric in a way. Like I know they
So that's
might
your
be.
personal opinion. That's your personal opinion. I think it's what's barbaric is put a person for 30 years in prison for stealing a pizza. That's barbaric for his family.
I
That's
know
not
that
only
the system is
unjust to him,
making
also to
mistakes.
his family. What happens to his family? Have you seen a person who goes to jail for 10 years? What happens to his kids? What
So
happens?
it's
His
better
daughter is
to
innocent.
stone
His
them.
wife is innocent. His son is innocent. When you put him in jail for 30 years or 10 years or 5 years, that family, how is it going to survive? And who's going to take care? Who's going to be a father to that daughter and son? But if you lash him a few lashes, and then you let him go, I think he's not going to do it again because he's been publicly humiliated.
So the question rises.
Yeah.
I came up here thinking that you're sort of a moderate religious person.
So
So
so a punishment,
what is your
either when you jail someone or you carry out a punishment like you lash someone or you hit him with a cane. These are punishments. These are meant to hurt somebody. Meant to hurt. But which of these ways is better for the society, right? Which is less costly for the society, and which of them reform people better? I think jailing is bad. Putting people in jails for decades is terrible. That's very, very expensive for the citizens, for the taxpayers. And also it does not help reform people.
You got
Okay?
me over there, Allahyari, and Thank you for bringing me up. I was not expecting some of the answers. Thank you again.
Yeah.
I would like to end the
Okay,
conversation.
you take care.
Thank you.
All right. Do you have another
Nadia,
caller?
sister, open your mic, please. Yeah, we have lots of callers now.
Assalamualaikum. How are you doing?
We're good.
Assalamualaikum.
Alaykum salam, sister. How are you doing? Thank you for being here.
Good. Yes, I just have a quick question, and then I don't know if this is the right time to ask it, but especially because you're speaking in English, I was wondering if you can kind of go over a little bit about the whole vasila concept that we believe in. I just need a little bit more clarity on that. Just when I find myself explaining why we use the vasila, I really struggle. So especially that if I don't know if
so you struggle because people, the person who's interlocuting with you, he considers everybody the same. He, just like me and you, we have limited capacities, limited abilities, and we cannot perform miracles. So therefore, wasila does not make sense. So you cannot expect the Prophet ﷺ or Imams ﷺ to heal a person who is hurt, who is wounded, or who is sick, or solve any problems, because the thought is, the mentality is, everybody's the same. So just as I cannot perform a miracle, or a person, my father who is sick in his bed, he cannot perform a miracle, he cannot help me. Likewise, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, especially if he's dead, if he's gone from this world, he cannot do anything. But that is the difference between a believer and an unbeliever. So we Muslims, not only we Muslims, also Christians, also Judaic people, and not only them, but also within the Islamic realm, Shia and non-Shia, all the Ahnaf, Ash'aris, Maturidis, and also the Wahhabis, they all believe in miracles. That saints, not only the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the holy Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, whose positions are very lofty, very high, not only them, but many saints who are regarded as much lower than the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the holy Imams alayhim salam, they can perform miracles, and miracles can be performed after death. So therefore, when wasila means a tool, wasila means an instrument. So Allah has created all these instruments in the world. Some instruments are ordinary instruments. For instance, if we get sick, we take a pill, or we go to a doctor and he gives us a prescription, and we take that prescription and perhaps we get well. These are one sort of wasila, or tools for a purpose. And then there's another spiritual tools. Just as we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us something, we can ask Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to grant us something, or to intervene in our life and carry out a miracle in our life. Now, he does that or not, that's another question. Sometimes it's better for us not to have that miracle in our lives, and we do not understand that. But to seek him, to ask him, to request him to do that there's nothing wrong with that. And in the instructions of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, first of all, if you consider the miracles of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam in the books of miracles that have been written, there is a copious amount of narrations that Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam healed the wounded, healed the sick, and they granted people's wishes, granted people with miracles. Sometimes not through miracles, sometimes by ordinary means, and a lot of times through miracles, granted them wealth and whatever they desired. So that's one thing. And then instructions from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam that you should seek your desire. You should invoke the Imams alayhim salatu wassalam for what you need. Therefore, we have trouble explaining wasila to people who do not believe in saints, in Imams, and the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Of course, because the problem is not that wasila is explaining wasila to them. The problem is they do not understand the position of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the position of the Imams alayhim salam, and they consider them, they are just like us. Now they're dead, they're useless. They are dead, that's it. They're useless. So that's not the case. There's a life after death. And people who are dead, they're alive. They're not dead. And they can be communicated with, especially saints, especially Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the holy Imams alayhim salam. Yes, sister.
Okay, so one more question. When I
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Texas.
Oh, thank you for
But
calling. Okay.
I take a
Yeah.
Quran class from Pakistan, and like in there, we're not in this chapter where we just got done with Surah Nisa, and
Mm-hmm.
during the classes there was like I don't know if it was this class or another one, but basically in the Quran book there was like these verses where we were reading where Allah Mia says to us like, make sure you ask from me and me only, and if you ask from anyone else, well then on the day of Qiyamah, when
So there is no
you
such
ask from
verse in
someone
the
else,
Noble Quran.
have
These are
them
all
appear.
mistranslations. These are all
Okay, they were
mistranslations by
mistrans.
Wahhabis. Yes. So there is no such
So he's
verse
not going
as
to
you
be like,
just
oh,
referred
well,
in the
who are
Noble
you
Quran.
believing in? Bring them. Okay, so these are not in the Quran where Allah Mia says
So,
that
and
I'm going to
see,
ask
the
you.
trick is that there are some words in Arabic language that have two distinct meanings, and sometimes they're used in one meaning and they're not in the other meaning. So it's up to the translator in order to deceive his audience and translate it in a way that is that serves his purposes. So Wahhabis, because of their enormous amount of wealth and financial resources, they undertake many translations of Quran, and they have lots of masajid and they have lots of tools to propagate their ideology. So these are mistranslations of the verses of the Noble Quran. There is not a single verse of the Noble Quran that it says that you cannot ask anyone but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because that would make our life impossible. That would make living on this earth impossible if it was indeed haram or even abominable, makruh, to ask anyone but Allah. Because that would be so difficult, right, to live. We ask other people every day for myriads of our different needs. Yeah. Sister,
Okay,
any
so
other
I'm also
question?
opening up the Quran. Yes, last question, and I'll let you go. I'm trying to
Yeah.
find it. I think it's in Surah Ar-Rahman, where Allah Mia is talking about Ohad, and he talks about. I don't know if they were mistranslating that too, but they were like, we have forgiven them, and that he asked the Prophet to. I don't know if it was like ask for
Could you tell
forgiveness
me the
for
verse
them,
number so I
or
could pull it up?
yes, 1 second, and dispute.
Sure.
Okay, so it's going to be Surah Al-Imran.
Okay.
Let me mute it. Let me look for it. I have these notes. Just
Absolutely.
one
No
second, because
problem. Yeah, sure.
they did mention like I know that there were like people that ran away and then they ran towards like the Ma'al Ghalimat or
Oh,
something. But like
oh, do you run
in the
away? The
verse
people
it
who
said
ran.
to forgive. Yeah, it said in the Quran. It was like I have
Oh,
forgiven them
oh,
and
yeah.
that you
So,
should too, or something like that. I'm just trying to look for
The
exactly where it
Battle
was.
of
no, there's not.
Uhud.
You should too.
Was it Ohud?
But إن الذين تولوا منكم يوم التقى الجمعان. It's about them.
Okay.
I'll pull up the verse for you.
Thank you. Okay,
Yeah, I'll pull up the verse and I'll bring it here on the screen in a moment. Yeah, here. So
It's Surah Al Imran, verse 155.
yeah, yeah. Here we go. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الذين تولوا منكم يوم التقى الجمعان إنما استزلهم الشيطان. Those individuals from amongst you who turned their backs and they ran away on the day that the two armies encountered each other, and that's the battle of Uhud. إنما استذلهم الشيطان. Verily it was so, on the account that shaitan shook them. Shaitan shook their resolve. بِبَعْضِ مَا كَسَبُوا. Because of their past deeds. So their past deeds were such that shaitan had empowered them, and because shaitan controlled them, shaitan was able to mislead them. وَلَقَدْ عَفَى اللَّهُ عَنْهُم. Now this afu, what does it mean? This afu, the word afu in the Noble Quran has been used many a time, and has been used especially for Bani Israel, when they worshipped the calf and when they mistreated Musa alayhi salam. And this requires a detailed discussion, that this does not mean that إنما التوبة لله على الذين يعملون السوء بجهالة ثم يتوبون عن قريب. This does not mean the same that they did tawbah and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted their contrition and accepted and embraced their repentance, and Allah was pleased with them, Allah loves them. It doesn't mean that. It means, inshallah, if it requires a bit of explanation. It's just like Bani Israel. When Allah did af, their af, وَأُشْرِبُوا فِي قُلُوبِهِمُ الْعِجْلِ. Their hearts were filled, their hearts were permeated with love for the calf, for the idol. And Allah said, I forgave them. So how did Allah forgive them when their hearts were full of iman, full of love and devotion for the idol, for the calf? That means only not bringing down calamity and adhab and punishment in this world, in this life for them. And it means that their punishment has been delayed for the hereafter. So it is just similar to that. And this, okay, in this, وَلَقَدْ عَفَى اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ, at the same time that they were running towards now there are many narrations in this regard in Jami' al-Bayan al-Tabari and other books of narration from, not from the Shia, non-Shia sources, that this forgiveness came when they were running away on that occasion. So they were at that time, they deserved two things: either punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had the right at that time because they broke their promises and they violated their oaths, that Allah would bring down upon them a celestial, a heavenly punishment, a destruction upon them. Or at least the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam conducts court-martial after the battle. And these individuals are hanged or beaten or punished because of they violated their oaths and they ran away and left Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam defenseless, to be killed and to be mutilated by the mushrikeen. So this afu is regarded about that occasion, about the punishment that these persons deserved in this life, either at the hands of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam or either by some supernatural way from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this punishment did not come. It does not mean that they were forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The reason for that is I'll show you some other verses of the Noble Quran. Let me bring you this verse. This is Surah Al-Ahzab, verse number 15. وَلَقَدْ كَانُوا عَاهَدُوا اللَّهَ مِنْ قَبْلُ لَا يُوَلُّونَ الْأَدْبَارَ وَكَانَ عَهْدُ اللَّهِ مَسْئُولًا. These individuals had taken an oath with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sworn that they will never turn their backs to the enemy. وَكَانَ عَهْدُ اللَّهِ مَسْئُولًا. And Allah surely will ask them about this oath that they have violated. So Allah has promised that they will, these individuals, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask them about why they ran away. And then also the Omari scholars, they have clearly stated that this afu means adamu, that Allah had the right to destroy them at that moment. And Allah did not destroy them at that moment. That it means just that afu against punishment in this life, not the hereafter. Look, this is the verse, Surah Al-Imran, وَلَقَدْ عَفَى عَنْكُمْ. And then, وَلَقَدْ عَفَى اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ. Verse number 155. Jami' al-Bayan by Tabari, which is the best, most authoritative tafsir of the Omari congregation. Yeah, over here it says, وَلَقَدْ عَفَى اللَّهُ عَنْكُمْ قَدْ عَفَوْتُكُمْ إِذْ عَصَيْتُمُونِي أَنْ لَا أَكُونُ اسْتَعْصَلْتُكُمْ. I forgave you because when you disobeyed me, that I did not destroy you. So this afu means just in this life, that I did not destroy you. It's not regarding the afu of akhirah. And with the لقد عفى الله عنكم ولقد عفى عنكم ولقد عفى الله عن عظيم ذلك لم يهلككم بما آتيتم من معصية نبيكم. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, at that moment I had the right to destroy you, to annihilate you, and I did not do that. It is not talking about the punishment in the hereafter. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Who's our next?
Thank you for your time.
May Allah bless you. Allah keep you well. But this requires, obviously, this requires further.
Yeah.
These verses are a little complicated, and they require more detailed answers. And then I have asked some Omari scholars to debate me on this question. Hopefully, they will come forward in my Urdu program. Yeah. Who's the next caller? Yeah, may Allah bless you.
Yunus,
thank you for
brother.
being here. Yunus.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Hassan.
Alayka assalam wa rahmatullah. Where are you from?
Yakumullah.
May Allah bless you.
Originally I'm from Iraq, but I live in Colorado. USA.
Okay, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thank you for
Sure.
opening this live.
Absolutely.
I think you opening these English lives is a big thing. We definitely need more da'wah on the English side.
Okay.
So I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Allah bless you. What do you do in
Inshallah, we see
Colorado?
you
You go to
earlier.
school? You go to college? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm in university. I study human
What do you
resource
study?
management.
Resource
And
management?
inshallah, yeah, human resources.
Human resources. Good. Okay.
My aqidah is obviously a Shi'i. I would say that I would be labeled as an akhbari Shi'i.
You are Akhbari? Okay.
Yes. And I wanted to ask you some questions. Inshallah, there are a couple questions, but I don't want to take too much of the life. So whenever you have enough of me, just tell me to stop, all right?
Okay.
So first question is, when it comes to al-taqlid, I've seen your series about it. You were very clear about it. And I won't bring up figures or names, don't worry.
Yeah.
Just talking about in general. So when it comes to al-taqlid, right, emulation of a Shi'i scholar, I've heard and I've seen people claim, if you know Muhsin al-Asfur,
Okay.
he claims that you
No, I
can
don't know.
do taqlid. Yeah, he claims that you can do taqlid to an akhbari faqih who uses qata', who uses certainty with his rulings, without asking him for evidence. Like, for example, let's say you are an akhbari faqih theoretically. I come to you and I say, Sheikh Hassan Allahyari, O faqih al-Muhammad, what is the ruling on X? And you tell me the ruling on X is halal. And I just take that and act by it. And this is allowed because you use qata', you use certainty, you don't use al-ijtihad or istinbat to derive your rulings. Is this allowed in your view, or is this not allowed?
So there's no hadith in that effect that somebody's words would be hujjah for you. It would have authoritative value as a law of Islam on its own merits because a scholar has said so. Rather, it's questionable because that position is only reserved exclusively for the holy Imams alayhim salam. Their words are hujjah only, not anybody else's. So a person says that my word is hujjah for you and you cannot question me, or you should take my words without questioning me because I don't use qiyas or istihsan, or I don't use ijtihad. It never, how could you be satisfied he did not make a mistake? Because you can always have doubts that this person, perhaps you can question him, that perhaps he made a mistake or he has not seen another hadith. So for him to say that you can take his word for it, if you have confidence, that's another thing. If you're sure that he's right, then that's not only for akhbari ulama, that's for anybody. Even ChatGPT, if you're sure it's correct, if it's answering you correct, it has seen all the ahadith and is giving you an answer. It's giving you a correct translation or a correct answer. So on that occasion, if you're sure something is right, of course, if you're sure, then anywhere, Usuli mujtahid or a Wahhabi mujtahid, any person gives you an answer and you're sure he's correct, then you can, of course, you can take it because you're sure it's correct. But the question is, when you're not sure, when you don't know, is there any authority in Islam other the holy Imams alayhimus salam, whose words could be hujjah? That requires proof. There's no proof to that effect.
Ahsan, barakallah feek. And I wouldn't say I wrote a book because I'm not on the academic level yet, but it's more of like a Google document that I did my own research through, and I basically went over taqleed, the meaning of it, and the sayings of the scholars. If you like, I would send it to you through email if you want to look through it.
Oh no, you have time. I don't have time, brother. There's so many things to read, right?
Yeah, and
a good thing to read to make you friend, and I read your document, but I should not promise something that I'm not going to do.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I didn't expect you would. But yeah, the reason I mentioned that is because I gathered like the sayings of the classical Akhbari Shia scholars, and they all say the same thing that you just said. Basically, that the only saying is hujjah, as the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and you can't blindly follow somebody, even if he's an Akhbari faqih, without having certainty that what he said is the saying of Ali Muhammad. And you can't have certainty unless you see the hadith and read it for yourself, right? So that's the question number one. Now, question number two. Have you done any research about Al-Sayyid Muhammad ibn Abd al-Nabi al-Mirza al-Akhbari, rahimahullah, the one who lived during the time
I have
of
some
Kashf
superficial
al-Ghita?
readings about him, not anything in depth.
Oh, okay. What would you say, what is your opinion about him? Do you believe he's a believer?
What I read in Qisas al-Ulama by Mirza Tankabuni, that he used to practice some questionable things. It seemed to me like that he was not.
Yeah, he did.
And some of the books that he has written, and I saw them. They were like there was a long time ago. It seemed to me that he was not a saint that some akhbaris try to portray him as.
Yeah, there are claims that he used to do magic. For the Sultan and etc.
So he was Sufi. It was said that he was Sufi or he was doing magic and stuff like that. So there are a lot of people who are astray, and in order to be astray, they justify that I'm akhbari. So nobody can, I'm just following akhbar. And who knows akhbar? Nobody knows akhbar or hadith. 99% of people don't know. So whatever he says or does, like today, lots of people who do not want to adhere to the laws of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. For them, the refuge, the excuse is that they're akhbari. And because people don't know hadith, so they can do anything they want and absolve themselves by saying I'm akhbari.
Yeah, I did some research in regards to him, and I read some of his books. I actually have his hardcover books in my room about Rasail al-Mirza al-Akhbari, and I read these claims that he used to do magic or he used into tasawwuf like wahdat al-wujud. This is all lies because I read it from his own pen and ink. He disproves wahdat al-wujud and calls it disbelief, for example. So that's the second question.
So if he says wahdat al-wujud is disbelief, it does not mean that he's not influenced by Sufism. It doesn't mean.
From what I've seen,
so Shia scholars, a lot of them, if they say, we don't accept wahdatul wujud, but it does not mean they're not influenced by Sufism. In other ways.
Yeah, I mean,
from what I remember from Mirza al-Akhbari, and I have his books too. It seemed to me that he was. I shouldn't say this because I've been a long time and I've forgotten many of the contents. But at any rate, he did not seem to me to be a very upright person. Yeah, that's at the time my impression, and I had not studied in depth, anyways.
Yeah, I mean that's the usual view from people who haven't read too much into his books, but I definitely do recommend you read more into what he has.
Tankabuni lived at the same time that he lived, so he or at least close to his time. So when he writes his
he was actually a student of Kashf al-Ghita. He has a book where he says that Mirza al-Akhbari, he was accused of doing magic, but that's a lie. He was just doing talasum. And this talasum is obviously Imam Rida alayhi salam. We have that from him, alayhi salam. And now that actually brings me to my third question.
About that. I don't know about that. Okay.
when it comes to
A
like
lot of these talasim,
al-talasum
a lot of
and
these talasims are not from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Most of these talasim are not from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. You know that, right?
yeah, so
People who
yeah,
do
those
talasim,
narrations.
these are black
Yeah.
magic arts. Yeah. And they are not,
Yeah,
mostly
so
they're
those
not from Ahlul Bayt
narrations that
alayhim
go
salam.
into
Yeah.
al-hurz or talasum that we have from like Imam
That's
Raba
something,
alayhi salam.
hers is something else. Talasim are something else. The talisman, they call it in English. They are mostly Kabbalah and black magic arts. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is a version of it that doesn't
At
involve
any rate,
magic,
what's your
right?
next question, sir?
Honestly, that's all. I just wanted to thank you again
Oh,
for
may
opening
God
these
bless you.
slots.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank
Yeah,
you
for
for
sure. I won't want to
participating.
take too long. I want to let everybody else have a chance.
Okay. It was a pleasure
Take care,
talking to
guys.
you. Allah bless you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and a
Who's,
favor we
yeah.
all ask of you, the English community, Sheikh Hassan, and I know this because I'm involved a lot in the Shia TikTok community, especially on Discord and Twitter. And I do debates as
Can
well.
you share it with your friends? Can you share Alama's page with your friends?
Yeah,
Spread.
I shared it with
Yeah,
everyone. The live is
we
up,
appreciate
mashallah.
that.
Yeah, the live
Thank
went
you
up
so
from
much.
100 to 187 when I shared it with everyone. So,
Okay.
and I
Thank
also
you
own
so much.
a big Discord server. You don't care about this stuff, Sheikh, but I'm just letting you know the Shia English community, so you're aware of it. The Shia English community is very big, Sheikh Hassan. And we really do
Yeah,
need
of course.
more. We really need more da'wah, and a lot of the brothers and sisters would be more than
But we
happy.
need your support, brother. We need you people to support Alama.
100%.
Alama is doing everything by himself alone.
100%.
And nobody's supporting him financially. And he's doing all these lectures, different languages, you know. We need your help. Everybody's got to
100%.
pitch in. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is really good. I hope we see more of this. The Shia
Okay.
community, the English people,
Inshallah.
they're all always talking good
Yeah,
about you. And they
after
all want
iftar.
more.
Every other night after iftar, I'll see you, okay?
For sure.
Call again.
Yeah, take care.
Okay. You take care. May God bless you. May Allah bless you. Who is the next caller?
File close. File close.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam, brother. Where are you calling from?
Well, I'm calling from Germany,
What's your name?
and well, I use my nickname for
Okay.
some
Okay,
of the
what's your
problems.
nickname?
Yes.
How are you,
Okay.
sir?
I belong to.
Thank you for calling.
I belong to Al Sunnat wal Jamaat
Yeah.
School of Thought. Okay.
Okay.
I'm here to tribute you and congratulate you. Like 2 days before, you were having a debate with one of the Qadianis, and the way you were talking, that was marvelous. And like the person Safi who was there, he never came to any other broad before, and he's not allowing any of the Muslim to talk to him or to debate with him on his own broad. But
Yeah.
like the way he came to your broad and the way you talk, like I think about a week ago on your broad, you have said by yourself that you don't know much about the Qadianis. But when he came to your broad, the way you challenged him, that was the best way.
Alhamdulillah.
And I'm here to congratulate you and
Thank you so
so
much.
much. You are really, you are giving us new references and new way of talk, and we much appreciate you.
Thank you so much, sir. May
Thank
Allah
you for
bless you.
being here.
Thank you for your
Okay.
participation. Inshallah, I hope to have a debate with Qadianis soon, inshallah. Thank you so much, my brother.
Inshallah.
Allah bless you. Who is the next caller?
Tommy.
Tommy, brother.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaykum salam. How you doing, brother?
Good, brother. How are you? I just
Alhamdulillah.
have
Where are you calling from?
Australia, Sydney, Australia.
Thank you for being here, sir. What can I do for you?
Sheikh. I have a kind of specific question. So, currently, I'm studying in university law, and I've heard from certain people that there's obviously different avenues you can take, but I've heard that criminal law, like being a lawyer for, let's say, alleged criminals, is haram. So, do you have any like thoughts about this, or
So,
what do you think?
so on this question that you represent someone, so you cannot lie, because I don't know, if you're a criminal lawyer, you have to lie, I guess. Criminal lawyers, they do lie, don't they? But I think, or they don't lie. I'm not sure. Well,
Yeah.
because the etiquettes of the law bar probably require, because of being an officer of the court, you cannot lie. So that would be one questionable thing, that you cannot lie in order to earn a living. The second thing is that when you defend when somebody hires you, the general rule in Islam, the golden rule that would help you on every occasion is, if there was no question of money, would that doing that thing on its own would be permissible or not? That you have to look into. So, for instance, if I'm going to be hired as a person to clean a building, so sweeping this building, cleaning it, and wiping the windows, for instance, is it on its own merit something? If they did not hire me, would be permissible? Okay, if this person is not this place is not a place of debauchery and sin, yeah, that wouldn't be a problem. So for that purpose, I can be hired, and I can offer my services and get paid for it. For instance, if a person works at a senior citizen place, and as a caretaker, you have to wipe private parts of senior people, disabled people. So, is this something that is permissible or not? So, in normal circumstances, you cannot wipe somebody's private parts. But if a person is disabled, or he's senior or she is senior on that occasion, because if there was not the question of employment, this would be permissible. Because if there's somebody who cannot clean himself or herself, and there's no one to clean them, and he is suffering, on such an occasion, in order to help them clean, that would be permissible. So getting hired for this purpose is permissible. Now we come to what you are referring to be a criminal lawyer. So you would defend people who are really guilty. A lot of times they will be really guilty. Okay. Now, would this on its own right be permissible? I don't know. If there was no,
It's a sticky one.
yeah, if there was no question of money in hiring somebody, right? If there was no employment, and this guy killed somebody, brutally killed him, or he brought a lot of drugs, and he sold drugs, and a lot of people died, or they were hurt, families were destroyed, lives were destroyed because of his drugs that he sold. Would it be appropriate for you, Islamically, to salvage him, to save him from the wrath of the law? I think that's questionable. That's probably it's not. It's morally, of course, morally anybody would say it's be wrong, right? But Islamically, is it in the Sharia, is it jaiz? Because this law is not the law of Islam. But وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. So you have to help in the acts of virtue, and acts of acts that are taqwa, that there's fear of God involved there, and acts of sin you cannot be part of. So you would be helping somebody. You would be helping
Yeah.
somebody who is doing sin. So even if there was no employment there, you cannot be part of that. You cannot help him. So being employed, of course, then you cannot be hired for that purpose. So that would make it questionable. But if a person is indeed he's innocent, to defend him, yeah, sure.
But sometimes, like, what if you genuinely don't know if he's innocent or guilty?
Yeah. So you can find out, I guess. So if you're
Yeah.
not sure, that'll be shubhat. So you can abstain from shubhat. From on dubious occasion, you can abstain. You just refuse to offer your services, right?
Thank you, Sheikh. Thank you.
If you're not
Just
sure this
one more-
person is a rapist, he has raped people
Yeah.
or not, you just tell him, okay, prove to me first that you're not a rapist, then I'll defend you.
Thank you, Sheikh. Just one more question,
Okay.
if
Yeah.
you have the time. I see also all these lives about, especially this one. I forgot his name, but this one Sunni debater where he says, "Prove to me how saying Ya Ali isn't shirk." So how do I respond to
So
someone that
because
comes up to me
ya
and says,
is harfun nida. Ya is for invocation. A word in Arabic for to invoke somebody, to call. For instance, I say, "Oh, brother." This "oh" is ya.
Yeah.
If I were going to call Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam in English, I would say, "Oh, Ali." This is the same as Ya Ali. There's no difference. "Oh, Ali" and "Ya Ali." "Oh, Ali" is English. "Ya Ali" is Arabic. So calling on somebody by his name, it'd be very preposterous for it to be shirk. They themselves, they pray, "Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi." Ayyuhan nabi is same as Ya Nabi. Ya Nabi. You know that, right? Ayyuhan nabi
Yeah.
is the same as Ya Nabi. So if in your salah you don't say "Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi," you're calling on him and calling him by his title. If you don't do that, your prayers would be void. So on the same token, how could it be shirk? What is shirk? Shirk is that you make somebody who is not God, you make him God, you consider him God, consider him Allah, or you worship him as your Allah. But when you're calling Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam by his name, Ya Ali, Ya Hussein, you're not considering him to be the deity. You're not considering him to be a God or the God, and you're not worshiping him. So it is very preposterous that to call somebody would be shirk, even if he's passed away. Even if he's
That's
passed
what they
away, there's
say.
no verse in the Noble Quran, there's no hadith that says that you cannot call dead people. Yeah. Or you cannot
Then
call
when
somebody who's you
they say they
do
can't
not
hear you.
see. Yeah.
No problem, Sheikh. Thank you very much. Thank you for
May
your
God
time.
bless you. May Allah bless you. Thank you for coming here.
Thank you, Sheikh. Thank you.
Okay. Who's our next
Brother
caller?
Bakir. Brother Bakir.
Bakir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum salam, brother. Good. How you doing, brother? Where are you calling from?
Alhamdulillah. Calling from UK. I'm originally from Croatia.
Okay. Thank you for participating,
Yeah.
brother.
You're
Sure.
welcome. Alama, I've got a quick question regarding fasting. I work like pretty much about 100, more than 100 kilometers away from my home, basically, and I travel on a daily basis, 5-6 days a week. And how is the
So if that's your
fasting like?
job,
Can I still?
if that is your job,
Yeah.
then yeah, you don't have to. You have to fast. Is that your job?
So yeah, that's my job. Yeah, pretty much it goes from project to project.
Yeah.
So
If that's
sometimes
your
it could
job
be
that
like
you go,
100
then yeah,
miles.
of course. There are many hadith to that effect. If a person's job requires him to travel,
Yeah.
for instance, in the older times, there were people who worked for the government and they used to collect taxes. Or a person who is the caretaker of camels. So he rents his camels. So the caravans, people who transporting goods from one city to another, they would hire their camels. And this person comes along with the camels because it's his camels. So he's taking care of the camels because the commercial goods, they will be carried on his camels. So such people, they have to pray full 4 rakats, and also they will have to fast during the month of Ramadan.
Or thank you very much, Alama. That's
Sure.
what I thought as well. Yeah. I'm a big
Okay.
fan of you. Yeah. Jazakallah for your lectures
Thank
and
you
everything.
so much. May Allah bless you.
Allah Hafiz.
May
Thank
God
you.
keep you well. May Allah keep you well. Thank you for coming here. Okay, who is the next caller?
Sadia Tabassum.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaykum salam, sister. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, sir. Big fan of you. Thank you so much for spreading the peace and love for Ahle Bayt. Sir, I
Sure.
have a question. I have a friend. So she read the online nikah with one person, and then मतलब sir आपको पता है कि अहले तशरीह में
Okay,
जो
you
तोहफा
got to speak
है
English,
वहाँ पे
okay?
निकाह के सिगे Okay. So actually they offered the sigas online, and later
Okay.
on the boy used the girl and he vanished.
Okay.
So sir, is she still in his nikah or
Yeah,
not?
absolutely. If the nikah was originally valid and she agreed in the
Sir,
contract to become his wife, it's just in real life, just if the person was close to you. So vanishing of husbands happens also if the nikah is done in person. A lot of time people do nikah in person, and after 1 month or 2 months or 1 year or 2 years, the husband vanishes. It doesn't mean that he's not her husband anymore. Of course, she's bound
But there was
in the
not the
bond of
presence of
marriage to
they
him.
were not
Yeah.
okay, sir. But there was not the presence of wali, neither his permission. But sir, now what should be
If she
the
was a
next step?
virgin, then of course, the nikah is void, and the wali she should inform the wali, and the wali should also, as an act of precaution, he has the right to do fasakh. The wali has the right to rescind the nikah. So he should rescind the nikah. He should invalidate the nikah. If she is a virgin, is she a virgin?
No, sir, she was not.
Okay. Then the nikah is valid. Then the nikah is
Sir, but
valid,
if the
and
other
she is
person,
married to him. Good luck finding him.
sir, but if the other person is not owning the nikah, then what?
Then he should give talaq. The husband should issue a talaq. Yeah.
Fine, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, may Allah bless you. God keep you well. Thank you. Who is the next caller?
Hussein from Canada.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaykum salam, brother.
Well, I have a question. I recently moved
Sure.
to Canada, so
Get
I
closer to the
work at
mic.
a web shop.
Get closer
Okay,
to the
give me a
microphone,
second.
please.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Well, I recently moved to Canada, and now I am working at a web shop. Like we sell cigarettes, cigars,
I don't know
nicotine
what you're
stuff,
saying.
juices. Give me a second.
I don't know.
He's saying, Alama, that he works in a grocery store somewhere. He's selling cigars, cigarettes, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
is it
fine.
allowed or not?
There's no problem with selling cigarettes. Okay. There's nothing in Sharia that forbids selling tobacco. Do you have another caller?
It's me, Mahdi. Open your mic, please.
Okay.
Atizaz
Assalamu
Mahdi.
alaikum, Sheikh
Alaykum
Hassan.
salam. How are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
Not bad. Where are you calling from?
Sydney, Australia.
Okay. Sydney. It's what? It's 3:30 there? Almost?
3:24.
Yeah. What's happening?
Sheikh, I had a question.
Yeah.
So ever since I had a dream about one of the Imams, ever since, alhamdulillah, I've been very religious and I've been wanting to extend my knowledge. So I just wanted your advice and guidance on how I can go further into extending my knowledge. Like what books can I
So
read?
extending knowledge, you have to read books. You have to listen to good lectures. There's no other way. Okay, you have to study. There's not a miraculous way that I could recommend to you. Through miracle.
Like what kind of
Maybe
books, you know?
Elon Musk with the neurochip would come one day, so ChatGPT would be in your mind. If they could connect the brain directly, the mind directly to ChatGPT, then you will not have to read books or listen to lectures. Then you will know
Inshallah.
everything, right? Yeah. But until
Yeah.
then, reading and listening to people who are knowledgeable.
Yeah, but that's really hard, you know. It's really hard to see who's knowledgeable. But
So then you have to wait for Elon Musk and his neurochip company to connect
no,
your brain
like
directly to ChatGPT or to Grok.
I'm asking you
Because
what type of books?
Because Twitter's AI is called Grok. Are you familiar with Grok?
No, not really. What's that?
Actually, it's pretty good.
Is it?
It's like ChatGPT. Yeah. Okay.
The Chinese one.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's the American one. Grok is much better
Any
than
books you
ChatGPT.
recommend?
It's by Twitter.
Sheikh, any books you recommend me?
Yeah. All the books by Allama Majlisi. Okay? All of the books by
Allama
Sheikh al-Saduq.
Majlisi.
Yeah.
Sheikh al-Saduq. Okay. Thank you very
And
much.
Kitab al-Kafi.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah. Tafsir al-Burhan. These are very good books. Yeah. Okay.
Tafsir al-Burhan.
Sure.
Thank you so
Brother,
much.
are you from Melbourne? Are you from Melbourne?
No, I'm from
Are
Sydney.
you from Sydney? Can you tell the brothers there about Allama? He's coming live every
Oh,
night. Can
they
you
all know
spread the?
him. They all know
Yeah.
him. And they say
Thanks,
good
brother.
stuff about him, you know.
Okay.
But
Who
I
are they?
wish
Who are they?
we could
Pakistanis?
see more English. The Afghans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Afghans.
wish
All
we
right.
could see
Thank you
more of
so
your
much.
English lectures.
Give my
Thank
salams to
you.
your
so much.
community members, okay?
Wa alaikum assalam.
Especially to Dandenong, especially
No, I'm in Sydney,
Melbourne,
man.
Dandenong.
Sydney. Assalamu alaikum.
HM
Alaikum salam.
Hussein, please.
Who's the caller next? Next caller, please.
HM Hussein. Next caller now.
Now is the time.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
Not bad. How are you, sir? Alaikum assalam.
All good. Thank you for asking.
Good. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Sydney, Australia as well.
Okay. What's cooking?
I got 3 questions. The
Yeah.
first one is regarding Ilama Majlisi. There is some references because I was talking to my Sunni friends. Is it true that Ilama Majlisi believes that the Quran was distorted?
So majority of Shia, classic Shia scholars, that they believe so. Majority of them, yeah. Vast majority.
So
The
if that's
contrary
the
view is rare. Contrary view is very rare amongst the classic Shia scholars, yeah.
So if that's the case, then aren't we going against that specific verse in which God says that I have protected this word of Allah?
So there is no verse in the Noble Quran that says, God says, I'll protect Quran. Okay? Inna nahnu nazzalna alayka dhikr wa inna lahu lahafidhun. That's the verse. That's constantly mistranslated as that God has promised that I'm going to protect Quran against alteration. That's not what the verse says.
Makes sense. Thank you for that. My second question is regarding, it's the same question as Brother Tommy asked as well, but just asking a bit more details about it. There is a thing that we say, Ya Ali Madad. You say that calling Mawla Ali is nothing bad, which is correct, mashallah. But calling him for Madad, is there any
So there's
any
nothing that
reference
prohibits.
that we can?
There's nothing. Why? If you call me, why should be? If you call somebody for help, and you believe that help, Allah has enabled him to help you. For instance, if you go to a doctor, and you're asking the doctor, not Allah, to heal you, because it's your belief that this doctor was created by God, his knowledge is from God, and everything that he would do is through the blessings and permission of the Lord. Therefore, there's no shirk involved there. Likewise, if you ask Imam Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, who is an instrument greater, far greater, with capabilities far greater than any doctor, if you ask him why, what should it be? Should it be an act of shirk? Shirk is only involved if you make somebody who is not God, make him God's partner, or you worship him. That means that you do ibadah to him, that you invoke him as your God, as the deity. That would be shirk. Asking someone for help while you believe that he is not God, and while you know that you are not doing his ibadah, you're just asking for help. It would be preposterous to even conceive that it would be shirk. The Wahhabis don't have brains.
But
Yeah.
just on that, Sheikh, wanted to ask you regarding that as well, because I think all the sects believe that doing dua is ibadah, right? So can we do
No.
dua to Imam?
Dua is to call. If dua, there are two meanings for dua. Dua means to call on someone, to invoke someone, to ask someone, to request someone. That's dua. To invite someone. That's not ibadah. There's another meaning of dua, which is ibadah. That is to worship someone. So if you worship and if you do ibadah, the dua, which means ibadah, that you invoke someone as your deity, as God, of course, that's shirk. But just inviting someone, calling someone, invoking someone's name, in requesting someone for help or just addressing him to express your gratitude, express your love, that's not ibadah.
Makes sense. And Sheikh, is there any reference that you can give or any waqia in which any Sahaba or any Ahl Bayt, someone from Ahl Bayt, actually asked from help from someone who is not practically or physically alive?
So there are, in Shia books, of course, there are many that Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salam did not have the need, because the same miracles, same status that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had, Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salam have the same miracles, same powers. So there's not really any need for Imam Hussein alayhi salam to ask for help from Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, because if he wants to carry out miracles, he can do it himself. But Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salam instructions to the Shia to ask us for help, there are numerous instructions, numerous ahadith to that effect. And in Umari books, of course, there are many ahadith also in their books, that Sahaba, after the demise of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they would ask the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Let me share this hadith with you.
Yes, Jazakallah Shaykh.
Yeah. This is not a Shia hadith, because Shia hadiths are numerous, and it would be more helpful for you if I show you non-Shia hadith. Yeah. So it'll take me a few moments to pull this hadith up. Just allow me, please.
Yep, take your time, Sheikh.
Yeah, sure.
Brother, you were just down there in the comments. You called up on me to bring you up. So are you mushrik now?
Who me?
No, he's not.
Yeah, I'm just asking.
Okay.
No, you're
never.
not.
No, I just
Okay.
had some questions in mind which I want to clarify from Sheikh.
Yeah. Sure. Here, this is the book of Ahmad ibn Hanbal, which is Musnad of Ahmad, volume number 38, published by Al-Risala Publications at the year 1999. Here, after narrating this hadith, the Wahhabi researcher states that Isnadu Sahih, the Sanad is Sahih. Uthman ibn Hunayf says that there's one person who was a Dharir al-Basar, that he was blind. He came to the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and said, Ud'ullaha an yu'afiyani. Pray to God, so may God heals me, gives me my sight. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, if you want, I can pray for you. وَإِنْ شَأْتَ أَخَّرْتُ ذَاكَ فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ. And if you want, I'm not going to pray for you, and that is better for you, that I should delay this, that your sight should not be granted for you. That's better. He said, no, pray for me. فَأَمَرَهُ أَنْ يَتَوَضَّأ. So the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told him to go make wudu. فَيُحْسِنَ وُضُوءَ. And he makes a proper wudu. وَيُصَلِّي رَكْعَتَيْنِ. And he should pray 2 rakat namaz. That person, he would perform the namaz. وَيَدْعُوَ بِهَذَا الدُّعَى. And he would do this dua. Allahumma inni as'aluka. Oh Allah, I beseech you. وَأَتَوَجَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. And I reach to you بِنَبِيكَ, through your prophet. بِنَبِيكَ مُحَمَّدٍ صلى الله عليه وسلم. Through your prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Nabi al-Rahmah, who is an apostle of mercy. Ya Muhammad. Now the address is to the Nabi. The dua, the address turns to the Nabi. Ya Muhammad, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Inni tawajjahtu bika. I am reaching out to you. Ila Rabbi. Through you to my Lord. Fi hajati hadhi. And my this need. And this need of mine. Fataqdhili. There, fulfill my need. Over here. If you look at the Arab, it's fatuqdhali. And that is improper, because Wahhabis want you to read it in passive voice. So it would be more conducive to their beliefs. I'm reaching out to you, so my wish is fulfilled. But if you knew Arabic grammar, you would know that passive voice is improper to be read if active voice is possible. So the active voice of translation of this passage would be that I'm reaching out to you, fataqdi ali, so you may fulfill my wish. Allahumma shafi'hu fiyya, O Allah, make him a shafi in my case. So in this case, clearly this person is invoking the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and asking him to fulfill his wish. Let me show you another, and this has been mentioned in many books of hadith, so I don't have to go into details of all those sources. I'll show you another book. There's another version of the same hadith narrated by المعجم الكبير للطبراني. معجم الكبير للطبراني الجزء التاسع page number 17 hadith number 8311. On the authority of Uthman ibn Hunayf, that a person أن رجلا كان يختلف إلى Uthman. There was a person who would visit Uthman often. في حاجة له. He would come again and again to see Uthman because he had some need. And Uthman was the caliph, was the ruler. فَكَانَ عُثْمَانُ لَا يَلْتَفِتُ إِلَيْهِ. And Uthman would not pay attention to him. Uthman did not care if he has a need and he's coming repetitively. وَلَا يَنْظُرُ فِي حَاجَتِهِ. And Uthman would not even consider why this person is coming every day to see him. This person went to Uthman ibn Hunayf and complained to him that I have this problem and I'm coming to the king every day. The king is not paying, the caliph is not paying attention to me, and I'm in a dire situation. Uthman ibn Hunayf said to him, go make a wudu, then come to the masjid of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and then pray 2 rak'ah, and then say this dua, Allahumma inni as'aluka, O Allah, I beseech thee, وأتوجه إليك بنبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم نبي الرحمة. And I reach out to you through my Nabi صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم, who is the Nabi of mercy. يا محمد, O Muhammad, إني أتوجه بك إلى ربي فتقضي لي حاجتي. O Muhammad صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم, I am reaching out to you. No, I am reaching out to Allah through you, so you may fulfill my haja. And then you mention your haja. وَرُحْ حَتَّى أَرُوحَ مَعَكَ. And then come, I'll go with you. So this person goes and does that. He prays 2 rak'at and then addresses the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to fulfill my wish. And his wish is what? To see Uthman. So Uthman pays attention to him. This person next day comes to Uthman ibn Hunayf, goes to Uthman ibn Affan. When he comes to the door of Uthman, Uthman comes to the door and grabs his hand and takes him inside, Uthman himself. And he has him sit with him on the same seat, on the same couch that Uthman is sitting, and says, what do you need? And he mentions his need, and Uthman immediately fulfills his wish and does what he wants. And then he says, why you didn't mention your haja, your need until now? Whenever you have a wish, come here and tell me what you need. Then this person gets out of there and goes to Uthman ibn Hunayf and says, Jazakallahu khaira, may Allah reward you. You taught me this dua, this namaz and this dua, and I performed, and Uthman did listen to me. Uthman ibn Hunayf said that I saw the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam teach this same thing to a person who was blind. And this person who was blind did the same thing, and then حتى دخل علينا الرجل كأنهم لم يكن به ضر قط. This person was his eyes were fully restored as if he never had been blind. So now you see here that one Sahabi teaches another man how to go to the grave of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam or to his masjid and address the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and seek assistance from Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this hadith is sahih. Let me show you the sanad of this hadith.
Sorry to cut you, Shaykh.
Hold on. This is the Kitab al-Du'a by At-Tabarani, Sulaiman ibn Ahmad At-Tabarani, volume number 1, published by Darul Bashair in 1987, page number 1287, hadith number 10,050, same hadith. Said that Tabarani has said himself, well, hadith is sahih, this hadith is sahih. Okay. Okay, what's happening now?
Yes. Sorry, just on that, the hadith said to share the last one. At that time, was the Prophet alive?
No, the Prophet was dead. Uthman was caliph. Uthman was caliph. I'm telling you, Uthman was the king.
Jazakumullah khair. Thank you, Sheikh.
Sallallahu ala nabiyyina wa ala
Am I allowed to ask one more question, brother? Or
Yeah.
I'm really sorry I'm taking so much time.
You
off
said,
your
where are you
Sheikh.
calling from?
I'm from Sydney, Australia.
Okay, what's the next question?
It's just about parents. Nothing against them, Sheikh, but we're having some issues in the community, and even some sisters and brothers have come to me with this issue as well.
Okay.
There is a verse in the Quran in which God says to honor your parents, and there is no doubt we should respect them. But because of certain reasons, sometimes parents come between, and they start to say some things which can lead to some issues with your wives or with your children or with your brothers and
Yeah.
stuff like that. What
Yeah,
should
they're
a
active.
person?
The parents are active.
Yes.
Yeah.
What should a
Okay, what
person
happens
do in
then?
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to listen. Always we have to live because people are not perfect. Whether we ourselves or our spouses or our children or our brothers or sisters or our parents, because we are not perfect, we always make mistakes. So we have to make up for each other's mistakes, and we have to be forgiving. If we are not forgiving, then life becomes hell. We cannot expect, our lives would be hell if we expect nobody to do anything wrong with us or wrong against us in life. People will always wrong you, people will always violate your rights, and people will always be careless about your situation and your feelings, and they would do things that would not that would be inappropriate. So Islam teaches us to be forgiving, especially with regard to parents. Even if your parents do something inappropriate, you cannot hurt them back. You can always talk to them, you can always have discussions with them, and your discussions, your dealings with parents should be such that they are not hurt. That's very important. So you do not have to listen to your parents, you do not have to obey them, however, you cannot hurt them. That is the superseding rule, that you cannot hurt their feelings. So if not listening to them, not obeying them, would cause them discomfort, would hurt them, then of course you have to obey them. But if they're demanding something from you and they understand, if you don't do it, they understand. They will not really be hurt by you not listening to them. So you don't have to listen in such situations. But it's very, very strictly forbidden. And Ahlul Bayt alayhim wasalam, the Holy Quran, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam have warned their followers, never do say anything or undertake any action that would hurt the feelings of your parents. So if they say something about your wife, about your life, they interfere something, then you have to tolerate. There's no other way. Of course, you can talk with them, you can speak with them, but make sure that you do not hurt them. And that's life. In the hereafter, inshallah, there's no hurting, okay? But in this life, it happens all the time.
Makes sense. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you.
What do Americans say?
Question.
Americans say, sorry, that's life. Americans say, live with it. Yeah. That's the reality. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Jazakumullah khair.
Sure.
Alama, somebody in the comments asked the question, is it halal to open a savings account?
Of course.
Brother
There's
Hussein
nothing wrong with
asked
that.
in the comments.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, who is the next caller?
Sister Maryam, open your mic. Greenway Scrap, you can open up your mic.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Okay, the sister first. Sister, go ahead.
No problem.
So I wanted to know about the
Where are you calling
prayer.
from?
I'm calling from Norway.
Okay, thank you for calling. What's happening?
So I was wondering about when we pray, so after we finish the prayer, we miss some part of the prayer. And then is it allowed to do the prayer, stop prayer? امو نمازی چی میگه یعنی دور که نمازی ساو میخوان از برای خدا واجب قربت الله. Is it we should do it?
There is no such thing sahu prayers, okay? So you do sajda sahu.
No, it's not sahu. It's like you forgot some part of the prayer and you can still remain it and still read it after the 5 prayers?
I'm not sure. There's no such thing. If you
2 rakah,
forgot
and then you
something,
can fulfill
if you
it.
forgot, there are things that you forget. For instance, let's say I say Allahu Akbar, and then I say Surah Al-Hamd, and I forget Surah Qul Wallahu Ahad, and then
Yeah.
I go to Ruku, and I remember, oh, I did not pray Qul Wallahu Ahad. In this occasion, it's nothing, because I was supposed to recite Qul Wallahu Ahad while standing. Now I'm in Ruku. Then there is no obligation, nothing wrong with my prayers. I forgot, and Allah's forgiven that. And if I go to sajda and I remember I did in ruku, I did not say the dhikr. I did not say subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. So because I've passed its place, I've passed the moments of when I should have said the ruku, that is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If I forget tashahhud and I stand up on that occasion, I should sit down. I should sit down and perform tashahhud and then stand up again. So anytime you forget something and its occasion has passed, then there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're still there, for instance, I'm standing and I'm reading Qul Huwallahu Ahad and I remember I did not recite Surah Al-Hamd. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Then because I'm not gone to Ruku, then I should recite Surah Al-Hamd. But anytime in namaz, in prayers, if there's any sort of loss, something you forgot, you should perform sajdatay sahu, 2 sajda for sahu. That's not 2 rakat for sahu. That's 2 sajda for sahu. And you do sajda of sahu this way. So after you say the salam, you say, I'm going to do 2 sajda for sahu. And you go to prostration, you go to sajda, say Bismillah wa billahi assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, then sit Allahu Akbar, then do again another sajda, Bismillah wa billahi assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and then sit again in tashahhud and salam. And that's your sajdatay sahu. Okay, there's not 2 rakat namaz of sahu, there's 2 sajda of sahu.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
Sister Maryam. I
Allah
hope you
Hafiz.
understood my answer. If you didn't understand, you can always repeat the question, okay?
Okay, thank you so much. Allah
Okay.
Hafiz.
May Allah bless you. Who's the next caller?
Greenway scrap. Greenway scrap.
Greenway, where are you calling from?
Calling from Australia, Sydney, mate.
Okay, we have a lot of Aussies today. What's happening?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, your live keeps popping up. So I've been watching you since I was like 10 years old, to be honest with you.
Okay, mashallah.
Yeah.
What's
so
happening?
I've been watching you, to be honest with you, Sheikh. I've got 2 questions, and obviously I'm 31 years old, and for the past, let's say,
So
10, 15 years.
I'm not that old. I've not been giving lectures for 20 years. Come on. Okay.
I've been watching you
What's
since I was
happening?
really young, But what I'm saying,
Okay.
Sheikh, is that for the past 10, 15 years, I've been trying to find what is the truth, the haqq.
Okay.
So obviously at the start I used to go pray like Sunnis, and I used to go to Sunni mosque, and then I started researching about Shia Islam. Now that I'm into Shia Islam, obviously I was born and raised into Shia family because I'm from Afghanistan, also from Afghanistan, Turkmen.
Okay. داره ترکمنی؟
But what the problem? داره ترکمن هستم، بله.
زدی خوبی؟ چی زدی؟
Alhamdulillah. So Sheikh, the question is this, obviously, but nowadays what you have, I'm in the state, me myself and a lot of other people that I talk to, we are in the state of confusion. That where we see the Shia community, obviously it's not as strong as the Wahhabi or the Sunni community in Australia, or any other part of the world, because we don't put the Shia community, don't put that much effort on the youth or anywhere. So my question is this, Sheikh. I've got 2 questions. My first question is this, that nowadays when I go listen to a lecture, that Shaykh turns out to be a akhbari, or turns out to be a rahbari, or turns out to be a Shirazi. And they always have conflict with each other. Because of those conflict they have with each other, that brings confusion to me. I'm thinking to myself, all right, which one is the correct religion now? Which one is the right path? Which Shaykh should I listen to? Because one says one thing, the other one goes and says completely. For example, if you look at in Iran, they believe in Walat al-Faqih. The Shirazis don't believe in Walat al-Faqih. Then you have the Akhbari who doesn't believe in Marji'iyah.
So
If you can give
Allah,
me, inshallah.
look, Allah has given us reason. Allah has given an intelligence, just as you are very intelligent in your financial life. So when you, in your financial life, you either take a job or you're doing business, right? But always you think about which job you should take. You're not going to be employed just anywhere. If somebody's hiring a janitor, you're not going to go apply there. You are going to go for the best job in the market available for you. You're not just going to take any job. Or if you're in a business, for instance, you're offering your services, you'll consider the offers from clients. You'll take the best offer, the best business opportunity that there is in order to advance your career and make more money. Why you do this? Self-interest. You do this because that serves your interest, because that protects you more, because that promises you a better future for yourself and your family. That's why we always take better jobs. That's always in our business, we try to make decisions that's beneficial, that's profitable for our businesses. And how we do that? We do that by reason, by aql. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this light, this source of illumination, which is intelligence. We can reason, we can think, and we can evaluate different options that we have, which one is the best for us. So likewise, when it comes to spiritual matters, religious matters, of course, there are so many options available. You don't have to be a Shia. You can be Christian. You can be atheist. You can be within the Shia realm. There are so many different ways to go. You could be Rahbari. You could be Akhbari. You could be Shirazi. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you reason. He's given you aql. You have to watch which one is the best. Which one would take you? Which one promises you the best outcome to the best of your knowledge? So you're obviously you're a Shia. You're a Shia for a reason, because you think and you believe that this path is better than the path of Wahhabism or Umaris or being a Christian or any other religion, right? And now within the Shia realm, what is right? Which way is the best way to go? So aql. So who offers you the best, the purest guidance that emanates, that comes from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam? You should listen and learn from that source. Okay?
Thank you very much, Sheikh. Yes, I do. That's the problem. We do when it comes to Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. I listen to a lot of scholars when they talk about Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. But obviously, when it comes to, for example, the second question was this, that we as a Shia, obviously, we don't believe, or a lot of Shias believe, a lot of Shias who don't believe that we shouldn't raise an army before Imam al-Mahdi reappears, inshallah. We are not allowed to raise an army. We're not allowed to fight back or things like this. But then you have the Rahbaris who says, no, we do have to raise an army and fight against the oppression, against the oppression and injustice, and speak up. Like, for example, our brothers in South Lebanon, or our brothers in Yemen or in Iraq, people like these people, in their situation, their case, what are they supposed to do when they face oppression on daily basis? Are they allowed to raise an army?
So anybody who says something that we should do this or should do that, they have to have an instruction from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. If they are speaking on the authority of religion, on the authority of Shia madhab, then they have to have an instruction, a hadith from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam that gives them this authority to raise an army and to engage in fighting. Okay? And there is no such hadith. A hadith from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salat was strictly forbid Shia of raising armies and engaging in jihad, engaging in armed struggle until the coming of the 12th Imam alayhi salam. So obviously these people who are asking you or asking the Shias to support us because we are trying to fight the US, or we are trying to fight injustice. We are going to be engaged in armed struggle. Obviously they are deviated from the path of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam and fighting which injustice? They themselves are the worst tyrants. They are themselves the worst tyrants. Khamenei himself, the Iranian regime, is one of the worst violators of people's rights, of the Iranian people, Shia people's rights. Ask, you're from Turkmen, ask Hazara people how they are treated in Iran.
Yes,
how they're treated in
actually,
Iran. Yeah.
yes, Sheikh,
Every
to be honest,
Hazara is a George Floyd. Every Hazara is, well, George Floyd was a criminal. He was a pimp and a drug dealer, and I'm not sorry for his death. And he died because of drug overdose, not because Derek Chauvin killed him. But every Hazara is the lowest of the lowest nigger in Iran. Yeah, absolutely. So what justice they're talking? They're the worst tyrants, right? Yeah.
Sorry, Sheikh. So my question is, I actually my wife who lived in Iran for 25 years, and her and myself, we faced discrimination and a lot of racism in Iran. But what I'm trying to say, for example, you're saying that what oppression they're facing. For example, the Lebanese people in South Lebanon, when the Israelis invaded South Lebanon. Now, what do you recommend him? What do you recommend them to do? Obviously, because the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam said you're not allowed to raise an army.
Lebanon is a small country. The entire population of Lebanon is about 5 million people. About 1/3 of that is Shia. The entire population of Lebanon is before the war was 5.5 million. In them, 1 million was refugees from Syria. So its own population is 4.5 million. And 1/3 of that is Shia. So the entire population of Shias in Lebanon is 1.5 million Shia. And it was very, very suicidal and stupid and insane for Shia clerics, for Iranian leadership, to create a political party and armed group in Lebanon by the name of Hezbollah to fight Israel. And it was very stupid of Hezbollah to attack Israel after Israel attacked Gaza. Because Israel is just not a country with 7 or 8 or 10 million population. It's an outpost of the Western military power in the Middle East. So it was a suicide act, and the Shias in southern Lebanon were destroyed in the last war. Hezbollah was destroyed. All of its leaders, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, all of their military, all of them were killed. It was so embarrassing. Did you see that? That pager incident? Yeah. When you're fighting against an enemy who's very technologically advanced, and they're listening to all your phone calls, and they're following you everywhere with your cell phones, and then you buy pagers from them, and you're stupid and dumb, and you want to destroy them. Do you think they're not going to destroy you, and they have more firepower than you? And what happened at the end? What happened? What's happened today? Today, Hezbollah signed a peace accord which requires Hezbollah to disarm. The peace terms includes the peace term that Hezbollah with Israel they signed requires Hezbollah to put down its arms. So that is the result. That is the result. It's not only Hezbollah's stupidity, and people of Lebanon did not want this. Shias of Lebanon did not want this fight. It was Iran. It was Khamenei's regime that dictated upon them, upon the Shias of Lebanon, to get involved in this suicidal war. I'm not saying what Israel was doing was legitimate, was moral. No, what Israel was doing is wrong. But it was not for Shias of Lebanon to get engaged in this fight. It was for Turkey. It was for Egypt. It was for Saudi Arabia. It was for these big countries with huge military spending. You know, Saudi Arabia's defense budget is number 5 or number 4 or 5 in the world. Their defense budget is greater than Australia. It's greater than I think it's greater than the UK.
Yeah, but
their defense budget. Egypt has one of the largest armies in the world. Turkey likewise. So it's for them. There is no inherent Shia interest in Gaza. Although what happened to Gaza was very sad, but if you cannot help the people of Gaza, and helping them would bring devastation to your own people, then you are not allowed. Then you should not bring devastation to your own people. Yeah, what are you saying?
Sorry, Sheikh. So obviously you mentioned Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and other Arab countries, the Khaliji countries in the Middle East. We all know, and everyone knows, that they are sellout. They sold out their soul. They sold out their whole thing
So
to
that's
that
it.
side of
That's it.
America.
That's life. That's life.
My
That's
question,
life.
sorry,
That
my
is
question is
life.
this right now.
They do not help.
Yeah.
You know why they don't help Palestinians? They don't help
Why?
Palestinians because Palestinian cause has become a Shia cause. That's why. If you go back to the 60s, the 70s, the Saudis cared about Palestinians. They cared about Palestinians. You remember the 1973 oil embargo? That was carried out by the Gulf states, by Khaliji governments. In Iran I think Shah was part of it or not. I forgot, because probably Shah was not part of it. But they imposed an oil embargo on the U.S. There were at gas stations in the United States, there were lines. There were no gas here available in the U.S. That was because of the Saudi and Khaliji and OPEC oil embargo. And just recently, because Hamas was destroyed, because Hezbollah was destroyed. Remember when Trump said that we are going to overtake Gaza, and we are going to own Gaza, and we are going to make Gaza a Riviera for the people of the region, meaning the Israelis, right? As soon as he said, the Arab countries rallied against Trump. And the king of Jordan came here, and he had some private talks with Trump. And ambassadors from Arab countries and heads of state from Arab countries took a very strong stance against that. What happened? Trump pulled back. Trump now doesn't talk about taking over Gaza. Trump understood that he cannot do it, and what he said was stupid. Okay? So don't say that Arab countries cannot do anything about Gaza. They can do a lot about Gaza. It was stupid of Iran and Khamenei to make Gaza a Shia cause. Gaza was never a Shia cause. And people of Gaza don't care about Shias, and they're not Shia. And other Arab countries have abandoned Palestinians just because, for this reason, that Iran has hijacked the Palestinian problem in order to assert its leadership over the Islamic world. And the Arab countries wanted Hamas to fail and Gaza to be destroyed in order for Iran to be defeated. But if Shias pull back and let them sort it out between themselves, because it's not our problem anyways, then I think it's not. I don't think you're correct. I don't think the Arab countries would do nothing about Palestinians. Arab countries would show solidarity with Palestinians, and they would distance themselves from the U.S. and Israel. And Netanyahu would have never been able to carry out the massacre, the devastation in Gaza, if it was not because of the perceived notion that it's Iran who is the champion of the Palestinian cause. Okay.
Yeah, Sheikh, sorry, Mark, my last thing is that before I go down, obviously Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam stood up against oppression. So, for example, he stood up against Yazid, lanatullah alayhi.
That's not true. That's not true. Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam did not make an uprising against Yazid. Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam wanted to survive. Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam was going to be killed in Medina. In order to save his life, he went to Mecca. Then he was going to be killed and massacred in Mecca during Hajj. And at that time, he had no place to go, and he did not want to violate the sanctity of Mecca. He did not want a firefight to happen in Mecca. And the only place that was inviting him was Kufa. And he knew if he went to Kufa, he would be killed. So he had no place to go in the world, anywhere he would. These are his hadith that he said before going to Mecca from Medina. He said, I'm going to go Mecca, and if they let me live there, I will live there the rest of my life. That's what he said. Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. He went to Mecca to live there, spend the rest of their lives. His seerah, his conduct is the same conduct of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, who did not make an uprising against Yazid. And on the way, at any rate, on the way to Kufa, he was intercepted, and he sought permission to return from where he came. They did not allow him. They offered him to be a slave of Yazid, and then Yazid would kill him anyways, just as they offered asylum to Muslim ibn Aqil. So that's not true. What you're saying is totally a wrong interpretation. This interpretation of the incident of Karbala, that Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasallam was leading a revolt against Yazid, This is totally wrong. And because this is an Umari, an Ikhwani interpretation of the incident of Karbala. This is not the incident of Karbala as explained by Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Imam Hussein alayhi salatu was salam's seerah, and there was nothing worse about Yazid than Muawiyah. Muawiyah was way worse than Yazid. There was nothing worse in Muawiyah than Umar. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam did not revolt against Umar. Imam Hussein alayhi salam did not revolt against Muawiyah. So this thing, to think that Muawiyah was good, Umar was good, Uthman was good, Abu Bakr, they were all good, but Yazid there was a little shady character. There was Imam Hussein alayhi salam revolted against him because he was unjust. This is not true. Yazid was less unjust than Muawiyah. Yazid is nothing compared to Muawiyah. And Muawiyah is nothing compared to Uthman, and Uthman is nothing compared to Umar, and Umar is nothing compared to Abu Bakr. At any rate, thank you so much, brother. But at any rate, this requires further detail, okay? Because what is propagated from Manabir against about the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam from Shi'i pulpits, this is not the Shia interpretation. This is not Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam's narration of events of Karbala. This is the Ikhwani, this is the political, the Umari, the Abbasi narration of the events of Karbala, what you refer to, that Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam made a revolt against injustice. If he did so, likewise, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam should have also made a revolt. Right. Imam Ali alayhi salam also should have made a revolt against Abu Bakr because his wife was killed. Okay?
100%. No worries. Thank you very much, Sheikh. Look, what we've been told this since we were young, that Imam Hussein stood up against this.
I know.
That's what we've been hearing. So that's why I'm saying we are in the state of confusion. We don't know which scholar is telling the truth.
Okay, wait for me in Farsi. This Muharram, inshallah, I will deliver a series of lectures on the events of Karbala, and I will dispel this misunderstanding that Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam was leading a revolution. He was leading an uprising against Yazid.
What do we do if there's oppression taking place? What do you recommend us to do then?
So what you should do when you see oppression, if you can stop it, you can. If somebody's raping a woman, right? If you can stop it, that's an oppression. So you can go and stop the rape. Or if somebody's killing a person and you can stop it. If you cannot stop it, then you can shout somebody or do something. This is on a daily life. If something wrong is happening, if you can stop it, you should stop it. Or if you can help the person who is being the victim of oppression, you should. But when it comes to governments leading an uprising, a revolution, this causes more harm. Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam have strictly forbidden their Shias that no matter how oppressive a government is, do not make an uprising against that government. That will bring more harm than good. Okay, there are many ahadith to this effect, that you cannot be part of any revolution, any movement against the governments. So, but always, the governments, if they're doing something wrong, you can point it out. You can do Amr bil Ma'ruf. You can tell if it's safe for you. You can point out. You can tell people. You can shame the government that what you're doing is wrong and what you're doing is an oppressive act. But in order to bring that government down, how are you going to replace it, right? What are you going to bring in its place? The best example that we have in our own lives is Khomeini. Khomeini said to the Iranian people, the Shah is oppressive. Let's replace him through a revolution. And he led a revolution, and he replaced Shah. What happened next? What happened next, right? Now go to Tehran, go to Iran, and look at this masajid. Nobody comes to prayers. No, people at the time of Shah had better hijab than today in Tehran. And people were practicing Islam more at the time of Shah than now. And the government is way more corrupt now than the time of Shah. And people of Iran are more impoverished. And the economy is way worse than the time of Shah. So, and people and Shia scholars are hated everywhere in Iran. They have no respect. And the abuse that is carried out by the Iranian government is way worse than Savak and what Shah did to the Iranian people at the time. Okay?
تشكر بسیار زیاد انشالله
اوكي طبعا. اوكي خدافظ. زنده باشی برار. Okay, who's the next caller? Humanitarian.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله
عليك
وبركاته.
السلام. عليك السلام. Where are you calling from, brother?
شهر رمضان مبارك شيخنا. Calling from Sweden.
شهر رمضان مبارك. Where are you calling from?
Sweden.
Sweden. What's your name?
Well, you can call me humanitarian, if that's okay.
Okay, Mr. Humanitarian. What's happening?
جزاكم الله خير. شيخنا جزاكم الله خير. You made mentioned very interesting things, but firstly I would like to ask about your opinion. Do you believe in the tahrif of the Quran al-Karim?
So what? Define tahrif to me and I'll answer. What does the tahrif mean?
Do you think that the Quran al-Karim has been altered with, I'm not speaking about ta'wil, I'm speaking about tanzil.
Yeah, altered how? Like what?
Changing in meanings, changing in verses.
So what is a matter of consensus? Okay? What's a matter of consensus? Okay. And nobody disputes that. Is that the order of Quran today is not the order, the sequence of the verses and the sequence of the surahs is not what was ordained by the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and what was ordained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The tartib of nuzul, the sequence and order in which the verse were revealed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that knowledge has been lost. Nobody knows exactly what is the real tartib of Quran. Everybody knows this. So although nobody pronounces this, but this is a matter that nobody disputes. That's one thing. The second, are there verses missing from the Noble Quran? Have there been verses that have been lost for various reasons, either political or through waste and lack of care? They have been lost. So in this regard, even either purposefully verses were omitted or lost because lack of care. There is a plethora of ahadith on both sides, Shia and Umari, that clearly express this view. From Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam and also from Sahaba, that there are many, many verses of the Noble Quran that have been lost and that have been omitted. And they are no longer present in the current and the present Quran that we have. And this is not something I am saying. This is something the holy Imams from Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam have time and again expressed that. And there are repetitive ahadith with this regard. And there are many ahadith from Sahaba, from Umar ibn al-Khattab, from Aisha, from Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, from Ubay ibn Ka'ab, from Abdullah ibn Abbas, and many, many others. This on one hand. On the other hand, there's not a single hadith from Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam or from Sahaba. In other words, there's not a single hadith from Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam in Shia books or in Umari books that state that no verse has been lost. So, for the loss of verses, you have many, many ahadith, many, many testimonies. For the lack of loss, for preservation, you do not have any testimony. So now I leave it up to you. Which one do you decide? Right?
Jazakallah khair. The thing is, thank you so much for explaining. But the thing is now, you said that the tanzil has not been maintained in what we see in the Quran now. So now, do we have any dalil from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Then you should collect, or the Quran should be written and collected in the same sequence as the tanzil. Or this is something that's
of course, this is not the first rodeo, right? Quran is not the first book. Not the first book that was revealed by Allah. Before Quran, there were other books revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they were all altered, right? So the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was very cognizant of this fact and attentive. That the Bani Israel, they changed their book. The Christians, they changed their books. And other nations, they changed their revealed books. So the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam took great care that Quran should be preserved. And he had the Quran written at his own time, in his own lifetime. And these were manuscripts that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to safeguard very carefully. And before his demise, he gave all these manuscripts to Amir al-Mu'minin Ali alayhi salam. And he said that this is the Quran. And after my demise, you make sure that you compile them and in the same order that Allah has ordained them to be compiled into. And make sure that Quran is not lost like Bani Israel did what to their book and the Nasara did their to book. So Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam, after the demise of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, undertook the task of compiling Quran, and he compiled the noble Quran. And he offered this Quran to Muslims and the Sahaba. And Muslims and Sahaba said, we do not need your Quran, because there were a lot of things that did not behoove their political position. Sahaba did not want it. It was disadvantageous to them. It was suicidal for them to accept the Quran compiled by Ali alayhi salam. So, and there was no other Quran. So because Quran was not compiled in the lifetime of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And Quran, Omar and Abu Bakr, they asked Zayd ibn Thabit, a Jewish person, a person of Jewish heritage, to compile Quran. And he compiled Quran for them. And this Quran was given to Aisha, but then something happened in this Quran. An animal a goat ate this Quran. So this Quran was lost. And then there were other Sahaba, they also compiled their own Qurans. But all of them, their Qurans were not full. Ubay ibn Ka'ab had his own Quran, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud had his own Quran, and there were other Sahaba who had their own Qurans. And then at the time of Uthman, these different Qurans were so different from one another that Muslims were quarreling with each other, and they were pulling out swords, and they were ready to fight each other. So Uthman ibn Affan, what he did, he asked Zayd ibn Thabit one more time to compile Quran. So Zayd ibn Thabit with some other individuals, they sat down and compiled Quran one more time. And then they brought their Quran and presented to Uthman. Uthman looked at it, and it's in Bukhari, and he said, there are mistakes here. What you have written is a mistake, is wrong. But he said, it's okay. It's okay. It's wrong, but it's okay. And then he said, all other Qurans should be burnt. So there was a big campaign in the Islamic world, in different cities, to burn the Qurans. And not a lot of people had Qurans, see, because 99.99% of the people, they were illiterate. Very few individuals had Quran. And senior Sahaba were against Zayd ibn Thabit compiling the Quran, because they considered him to be not qualified for this task, like Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. And they were also against the campaign of burning the noble Quran. But Qurans were, at any rate, they could not oppose the Khalifa, and the government's power was immense. And the government was succeeded to burn all the other Qurans. And this Quran that Zayd ibn Thabit and his company had compiled at the days of Uthman, and Uthman said that there are mistakes therein, Uthman ordered 5 copies to be made of this Quran. They kept 1 copy in Medina, sent 1 copy to Damascus, 1 to Egypt, 1 to Bahrain, 1 to Basra, and 1 to Kufa, and 1 to Yemen. And there were differences amongst these copies also. They were not all identical. Because they were transcribing by hand, and most of them, they do not know how to write, because they were illiterate people. So there were errors there too. And when these Qurans reached different places, and they were reciting them in different ways. So now right now that you have the differences in recitation that are quite different from one another. And on many occasions, they change the meaning also. These differences are on that compilation of Uthman. And today the Quran, what we have, is the compilation of Zayd ibn Thabit at the time of Uthman ibn Affan. Okay? That's the story of Quran. Are you done?
If you allow me, this is very interesting, but I do
and
not agree
And now
with
this
you.
is the truest story of Quran in brevity. But if you ask Shia scholars, they will lie to you. They will say Quran was compiled at the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's such a lie. There's no hadith to that effect. Yeah.
Yes, but we have the hadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa said to Imam Ali alayhi salam, Ya Ali, أنا قاتلت على التنزيل وأنت تقاتل على التأويل. And he said about Saffin and Nahrawan and Al-Jamal, and Imam Ali alayhi salam did that. And even when we see the wasiyah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, when he said, تركت فيكم ما إن تمسكتم بهما لن تضلوا كتاب الله حبل ممدود بين السماء والأرض وعترتي أهل بيتي. And alhamdulillah, you know more than me about that. So now how can Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi make أهل البيت المعصومين صلوات الله عليهم والقرآن المعصوم and guide people and direct people towards getting guidance from falsehood or a book that is altered with. This is number one. And sorry if thank you for giving me time.
So at that time when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that nobody had Quran, you have to understand. At that time,
no problem.
When the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I'm leaving behind two weighty things. Listen. Two things that are weighty, and if you follow them, you are going to, please listen to me. Please listen. Listen. There are two weighty things. If you follow me, you'll never go astray. Quran and Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. There was no Quran. And 99.99% of people could not read Quran. And they had just become Muslim. You have to understand what is the atmosphere, what is the environment, which kind of audience Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is speaking to. So Quran is not compiled. Even if it's compiled, nobody can read it. And they have very limited Islamic knowledge because most of them have just become Muslims. Hadith al-Thaqalayn. Okay, so now, but these people are very impressed with Quran. The Arabs at the time, they were immensely impressed by the eloquence of Quran, by the mellifluence of Quran, by the beauty of Quran, because they had never heard such beautiful words. And because Arabs paid great attention to eloquence and to literature and to poetry, and Quran is a book that's immensely beautiful. It's so supernatural, magical. I shouldn't use the word magic, but excessively so beautiful beyond words, and its verbal beauty. So these Arabs, when they were immensely, and a lot of them became Muslim because of Quran, because they heard, not because they knew the whole of Quran, because they heard verses of Quran, surahs of Quran, and they were impressed by its beauty, and they would accept this as a miracle, and they would become Muslims. So, but nobody had Quran, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying, I'm leaving behind two weighty things. Ahlul Bayt and Quran, alayhim as-salam. If you follow them, you will never go astray. But nobody had the Quran. So what does the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says? So pay attention to the rest. وَإِنَّهُمَا لَنْ يَفْتَرِقَا حَتَّى يَرِدَ عَلَيَّ الْحَوْض. This Quran, which is so impressive, this Quran, which is miraculous, this Quran, because of which you become Muslims, this Quran, which when you see its beauty and its eloquence, you kneel down before its grandeur. This Quran, seek it in no other place but in my Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Because as long as I'm alive, I'm the treasure trove of Quran. I'm the one who's carrying Quran. I'm the one who has the noble Quran. After me, when I die, and he said this also in Ghadir Khum, and he was holding the hand of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Hadith al-Thaqalayn, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam also delivered it in Ghadir. He said, after me, where's this Quran? With Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. So Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he spoke the hadith of Thaqalayn, he was not really referring to two different authorities, Ahlul Bayt and Quran. He was actually emphasizing the lofty and the high and exalted position of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. That look, just as I'm the authority that you submit to me, you listen to me, because I'm the carrier of Quran, because I'm the conveyor of Quran. After me, the carrier of Quran, the treasure trove of Quran, and the speakers of Quran are my Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam. So he was referring people to one authority who are Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam. You understand? So yeah, you're saying, okay, how could it make sense? Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that, I'm leaving two behind things if Quran was not compiled. That is because you have a misconception. Today we have Quran at every home, right? This Quran that Uthman compiled. So you think at that time it was the same thing? No, at that time it was not. Nobody had the Quran. Everybody was impressed by Quran, but nobody had the full Quran. And only Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam had the full Quran. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam emphasizing the excellent and the high station of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam said these words. Okay, you have any other thing to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
شكرا لسعة صدرك شيخنا. الرسول صلى الله عليه وآله said, he did not say تركت, I will leave behind me. He said تركت فيكم ما إن تمسكتم بهما. This is a condition now. ما إن تمسكتم بهما, and ما شاء الله you know better than me. ما إن تمسكتم بهما لن تضلوا. And لن is نافية, forever. And the condition is, do you hold fast on the Quran and Ahl al-Bayt together? And the interpretation you get from Ahl al-Bayt salawatullahi alayhim. So now, if the Quran is not there, then how can Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa direct us towards Quran?
So this is the historical fact that the Quran, people did not have the noble Quran. This is the historical fact. People were 99.99% illiterate, and they had just become Muslim, and nobody had a copy of the noble Quran. Okay? So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was saying that you should follow Quran in my Ahlul Bayt. And where is the Quran? Where is the Quran? إِنَّهُمَا لَن يَفْتَرِقَا. Quran forever and ever until the day of judgment is with my Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told them to follow Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam. In other words. So he was referring them to only one authority. That Quran, this Quran which is not compiled, nobody has a full copy of the noble Quran. Where it is? Where is it? Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam have it. So there are not two things. There in reality, there's only one thing. Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wasalam, they are the carrier of Quran, Sharikul Quran, Khuzanul Wahi, Tarajimatu Wahillah, Tarajimatu Kitabillah. Okay?
Jazakallah khair.
May Allah bless you.
Listen, I am with you about Ahlul Bayt, hum Tarajimatul Wahi. So Hadith al-Thaqalain, I've explained to you extensively. I'm not going to argue with you again, okay? If you have another question, go ahead, please. Okay. But you said 99.99. Do you have any statistics, or this is only
everybody knows that Arabs, so many hadith in Bukhari in Qawmun Ummiyun, that this nation is Ummi, people, Arabs. There was not a single school in Saudi Arabia, in Arabia, okay? There was not a single school. There was not a single book. When Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam died, Arabs did not have any books. There was not, let alone any libraries. There were not any books. Okay, this was an Ummi nation. Everybody knows that. Very few people knew how to write. If you go to books of history, they mention that in entire Mecca, only 10 people knew how to read and write.
And Rasulullah did not care about learning people in 25 years?
That's another question. Okay, thank you, sir. Next caller. That's another thing. That's another question. He cared about learning or not. That's another thing. People did not know how to read and write. Who is the next caller?
Fadak writes, open your mic, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikas salam. Who is the caller?
Rohit, I'm from Melbourne, Australia.
Melbourne. Aussies are on the go today. What's happening? Huh?
Yeah, everyone's from Australia today.
Yeah. Okay, it's a good time there. It's like there's before iftar, right? Before iftar. What's it? It's 4:30. What time is iftar over there? 7?
Iftar is 8:15 this year.
Oh, okay. So it's afternoon. You came from school and everything, from work, and now you're watching internet, right? My show. Okay.
Yeah, there's no daylight saving this year, so.
Okay.
My question is about interest rates, because people buy houses here. So obviously we don't do taqleed of any marja. So what's the ruling on buying houses?
So when you buy a house, you could always calculate what's going to be, if it's a fixed interest rate, you can calculate what's going to be the full payment, right? So if you're going a 30-year loan, you're buying a house for 300,000, But with a fixed rate, let's say 6%, you might end up paying 600,000 in 30 years. So you can always make intention that this is the rate, this is the price of the house that I'm buying for. I'm buying it for $600,000,
Okay.
and its monthly payment is going to be this and this and this. All right. So that is the full price, and it's fixed. It's not going to change. That's one way. The other way is that you make the intention that you will never pay the interest rate, that you will never pay the interest. So you're buying the house, and you make the intention not to pay the interest. And now that you have occupied the house, if you don't pay interest, they will kick you out, and it will be haraj for you. And it will be great amount of haraj and great amount of discomfort for you. And in order to save yourself from haraj, so because you don't want to be ending up homeless, now it's permissible for you to pay the interest rate. Okay?
Is there any hadith to back this up? Because obviously you can rent here.
So of
and
course,
like
of course.
Sistani is what you're
So
saying.
buying something and paying it in 30 years, that's not haram. That's not haram if that's the full price you're paying 30 years and you're paying it monthly, 3,000 or 2,000 a month until you pay it off. That's not haram. Okay, that doesn't require hadith because that's just a transaction. Ahallallahu al-bay'. And then if for haraj to if something is haraj for you, and if it's shady act, you can do it in order to prevent haraj for you and your family. But that's in the Quran, and there are many ahadith to that effect as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Next question is about Salat al-Jum'ah and
And
Eid.
there are other details also. There are other details also that
Yeah.
I can, but now is not the time. Go ahead. What's the other question?
It's about Salat al-Eid and Jum'ah. Oh, you've already mentioned hadith in the Urdu language.
So the ahadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam denote that, imply and also explicitly say this, that whether it's the time of ghaibah or not ghaibah, doesn't make a difference. Only an imam or his rep, they can lead Friday prayers and Eid prayers. So all these Shia Maulvis, Shia mullahs who are leading Friday prayers, they're violating a hadith. They're committing haram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all against you here in Melbourne.
No, they
Almost
don't love me,
all
right?
the communities.
They don't love me.
Because
They don't love
you're
me.
against Taqlid, that's why.
Yeah. I'm against their mafia,
but that's
Taqlid
good.
mafia, right? If you tell them, well, if there's no
you're
Taqlid,
against
the mafia falls apart. The mafia
Exactly,
ends.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the main issue.
That's why
But
in
no,
order to
you've
keep the
changed
empire,
everyone's life.
they
You've made
have to be
everyone
against it.
familiar with the words of Ahlul Bayt. And before you arrived, no one
Brother
even knew.
Father, can you share Alama's page in Melbourne with your friends, with Dandenong, especially with Dandenong people? Say
Yeah.
Alama's
I
hello to them.
I live near
Thank you.
Dandenong. I've been telling everyone. Obviously, when you say you don't believe in Taqlid or Marjiyat, that's the first issue you have with them. So you got to be under Taqiyya almost with all the Shias here. But yeah, everyone listens. Oh, there's one Maulana that listens to him, Kumail Mehdavi. He's really famous from Pakistan.
I don't know him.
He follows you.
Everybody
He's on.
listens to him. They just don't want to admit it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the thing. And he goes on live TV channels in Pakistan, so he's really famous. But he follows you, all your lectures and stuff. And most of the scholars
Everybody
do here.
listen.
'Cause they
Even
don't know
Maraja
anything
listen to
about
me.
hadith.
Even Maraja listen
Exactly,
to me, okay?
yeah.
Yeah. Don't
They
worry.
just don't want to admit it. When they need knowledge, then they listen to you.
Yeah. So what's happening now?
All right.
You have any other question, brother?
With the interest rate one again, so when you said if you get like a fixed loan of 600,000, aren't you still paying interest though?
So
If
that's the full price, if you consider that the full price, right? So not really. So that's if you consider that the 600,000 to be the full price.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the full price. Then you're paying. So you make that intention, and then also when you're paying the interest rate, just pay it as a haraj, as a matter of avoiding haraj.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so
Okay?
much.
Okay, you take care.
All right.
Next
You
caller,
too.
who is it?
God bless.
God bless. May Allah bless.
Muhammad Amin, brother.
Mr. Amin. Where are you calling from, Amin?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaykum assalam. How you doing, brother? Okay, next
I'm
caller.
doing well. Thank you very much.
Good, good. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you, Sheikhna, on this on talking about the Quran and on the issue of the interest rate as well. Just had a quick question regarding the Quran. Are there hadiths from our Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam that tell us that the Quran, there are verses in Quran that are missing?
Yeah, many. Lots.
Okay, because
lots
the
of
reason I'm asking is,
from both denominations, Shia and Umari, both of them.
the reason I'm asking is because there has been a lot of surprise from a lot of our own Shia when they hear this from you. They get shocked that how can the Quran be incomplete? And the reason behind that is
Shias follow their scholars. Their scholars don't read books, and their scholars just look on each other. Okay, once one lie gets propagated in the recycle circuit, so that lie, that false aqidah, keeps perpetuating, keeps recycling. Shia scholars don't read books, and they learn from each other. And once one thing becomes mashhur, becomes well known, although if it's mistaken, although it's erroneous, then that keeps going on, and Shias believe that, and then they think it's so shocked, that Quran could be altered. Well, go back, just like Umaris, they are shocked, right? When I show them the books, hadith from Aisha and Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Ubay ibn Ka'ab, Umar ibn Khattab, so they cannot believe their eyes. Likewise, the Shia. But Shias should know that what I'm saying is not odd. What I'm saying is not out of ordinary. It's just common known thing in a hadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And majority of classic Shia scholars, vast majority, like almost all, believe this. Mufid, Kulaini, great scholars, they believe this fact. So this is nothing odd, this is nothing strange, this is nothing rare.
thank you. And the other thing that they mentioned, and this is probably something that the Umaris taunt us with, is that, okay, if the Quran had missing verses, why didn't our Imams, Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, let's say Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, Imam Baqir alayhi salam, reveal the true version of the Quran?
So they always said that the 12th Imam will do. This is something that's delayed for the 12th Imam alayhi salam by the order of God. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam have not allowed the Imams alayhi salam to reveal these verses until the 12 Imams alayhi salam comes. So there must be benefits, there must be wisdom behind that, although it's not been expressed. Although if we analyze those verses that are missing, the verses that have been mentioned that they are missing, so most of them have to do with imamah, and most of them have to do with the abominable character of Sahaba. So even if they reveal those verses, Muslims were not ready to accept those, embrace those. This would have caused the Imams alayhi salam to be massacred and Shias to be massacred more quickly. So the wisdom, although not enunciated, but it could be inferred easily from those verses which have been mentioned, that these verses have been altered or changed or omitted because they had to do with Sahaba, with the political position, with political leadership of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam. So revealing those verses would not have brought any good, because the caliphate, they would not have accepted that. At that time, people were not allowed to narrate a hadith about the fadl of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, about love of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. There's a famous hadith, Man ahabbani wa ahabba hadayni wa abahuma wa ummahuma kana ma'i fil jannah. The narrator, Ali ibn Sahban, I think his name is, when he narrated this, Mutawakkil ordered him to be lashed 1,000 lashes, 1,000 canes. And of course, after 100, 200, 300, you die. So people were not allowed to name their sons Ali. If somebody was named Ali, he would be killed, he would be persecuted. So these were tough times, and Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam was cursed on Manabir. So, and that environment, when you are not allowed to narrate a hadith, that it's good thing to love Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Now you come up with these ahadith, not ahadith, but the Quran, that Allah said in this verse that Abu Bakr is kafir, Umar is kafir. And not only kafir, but very, very, very harsh, in harsh terms. What happened to Abdul Rahman al-Nisai? Abdul Rahman al-Nisai was the greatest scholar of his time in hadith. He said that I don't know any hadith that praises Muawiyah. They beat him up to death. They killed him for that reason. Although he was not Shia, he was not Rafidi. He was being honest that there's no Sahih hadith about Muawiyah, about praising Muawiyah. Okay, they killed him. What do you think they would have done to Shias, to Imams alayhim salam, if there were things that they claimed that, okay, Abu Bakr by his name, Aisha by his name, and very clear words, they're not only takfir, but harsher than takfir. There are verses about them in the Quran. And Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam are the true caliphs, and Khulafa they are usurpers. What would have they done to them, right? So this has been delayed until the coming of the 12th Imam alayhi salam. Okay? And this is not because this is not لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam himself for 7 years, 5 years, many years in Mecca, he was not teaching anybody Quran. He was not reciting to any person Quran because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had forbidden him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had ordered him to hide everything from people. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the explanation.
Yeah. Sure.
And that makes all sense. I advise all the Shias to think before they get shocked, because this is, as you said, written in our books, in Al-Kafi,
So the important thing is that look, the Shia scholars today, they are so far away from the path of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, their aqaid, their beliefs. In some things, they match with the aqaid of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. In many things, they match with Ikhwanis, with the current Umari interpretation of Islam. Amongst them is the preservation of Quran. So Shias should ask their scholars, what is the proof that Quran has not been altered? What is the evidence? Is there a verse in the Noble Quran that says Quran has not been altered? No, there's not a single verse in the Noble Quran. Is there a hadith from the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that Quran has not been altered? It cannot be altered. No. Is there a testimony from Sahaba? Is there a testimony from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam? No. There's no evidence, no proof. Is this illogical that the word of Allah could not be altered? So what happened to Torah? What happened to the Evangel? What happened to the previous books? They were not words of God. So there's no intellectual aqli dalil either that it cannot be altered. So what is the proof? There's no proof. And what do you do with all these hadith from fariqain, from both denominations, that Quran has been altered? Right? So the question of Quran's preservation or alteration is self-evident. If you just pay attention to the proofs, there remains no ambiguity. There's no room for argument and debate. That's why nobody comes to debate me on the preservation of Quran. Nobody. I've challenged the Umaris so many times, and Shia scholars also. They know my position. And they are looking, Shia scholars are actively searching and looking and waiting for my errors, for my mistakes, to catch my errors and to embarrass me, right? If this was something they had any proofs to counter me and to shame me and to prove me wrong, they would make a queue here. There would be a line of challenges of debate on this subject, of Quran. But there is no challenge. Just as there is no challenge on the question of marji'iyah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Taqleed. Yes, sir. Who is the caller? Who is the caller?
Muhammad Ali Raza, open your mic, please.
Muhammad Ali Raza, what's
open
happening?
your mic. Moonsha, open your mic.
Assalamu alaikum, Ya Ali Madad. Allahyari Saab, I'm from England. How are we doing? Ramadan
Good,
Mubarak
not
to
bad.
you. And
Alaykum salam. What's your name?
Moonsha.
Moonsha.
So, Ji. So, like Bani Hashim, the backbone.
Okay.
Anyway, so my thing to you is not much of a question, just to make awareness. Of course, me and Sayyid Ali, which is Bada Qadir, we are exposing the Ahmadi cult. You know, the new guys that wear the beanie hat. They are very dangerous for the Shia community. They make themselves to be the Shia community, that saying that they're in the cult of the Ahmadi cult. So basically, the very dangerous movement. All I wanted to just say to you is that if you could expose them as well, they've got a book called
So
The
I'm
Goal of
waiting.
the
I'm
Wise.
waiting for the Imam. So you always, the way to expose them is to ask for the Imam to speak to you, because the Imam is here, right?
Yeah, of course. But
The
they don't
Imam
do
is
that.
here. So we would like to do bay'ah with him. We would like to talk to
he
them,
won't come
bay'ah
forward.
with them. What's the harm? Since he's already here, we would like to not debate him, but just to do bay'ah with him. But first, we want to ask him to recite a few verses of the Noble Quran. And the guy doesn't know how to read Quran.
No, he won't
The
come
guy
forward.
doesn't
He
know.
won't come
The
forward.
guy's a total fraud. The guy does not know any Quran. The guy doesn't know proper Arabic, proper English. That's it. He's a full defecation show.
Yeah, so they've got a book called The Goal of the Wise, which they prescribe as it's their noble book, as in more than
The
the
noble
Quran. They
book.
don't
That's what I'm telling you. The best way. I told you the best way. Okay, may God bless you. Always press for the Imam. Where is their Imam? Let's do bay'ah with him. Let's do bay'ah with them. I'm quite an influential person in the Shia world, right? In the different communities. So there shouldn't be any problem to use my platform. If I'm willing to do bay'ah with him, this Imam should come running. Because he already has his websites, he has Facebook and and all that. And he makes clips. So why not talk to me? Because the reason is because the guy is a total ignorant person, a fraud. He cannot read Quran. He doesn't know hadith. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know defecation. He's zero. Okay, that's why.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Allahyari.
Oh yeah. God bless you.
The only thing
Next
I just
caller,
wanted
please.
to say that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Ghulam Zahra, open your mic, please, sister.
Ghulam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, sister. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London, United Kingdom. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for calling. Yes, sister. What can I do for you?
Yes, I just want to say salam, and I'm a big admirer, and my whole family, my husband, watching your debates every day. Yeah, I don't have any question. I just want to say salam.
Okay, you're so kind. Thank you for coming here. Okay. Mrs. Ali
Thank you
Raza.
so much.
Thank you, sister. Mrs. Ali Raza, come on. Open your mic, please.
Raza, you've been there for so long. I'm going to drop you if you don't open your mic. Matur Aziz.
He's not there.
Matur Aziz.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Who's the caller?
So myself, Mutahar Aziz from UAE.
Mutahar Aziz from UAE. How you doing, brother?
Great, sir.
Good.
So I have a little question. If can I ask?
Of course.
Okay, sir. When they say that they chose Niaba in the Ghabat Kubra, but there's a thing that why they didn't took a hadith and the references from the mother and the grandmother of Imam Qaim.
From their mother?
Yeah, no. From the mother of Imam Qaim.
Alayhi salatu wassalam. Because listen, the leaders of the Muslim nation were the 12 Imams alayhi wassalam. And they were the teachers.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. And the wives of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wassalam, they did not come into public, and they would not like, and they were their chastity, their honor, their dignity did not allow them to engage in conversation with the public. Public have questions. If the Imam is present, why his wife should come and answer questions, right? That doesn't make any sense. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not made these ladies, these very respectable and dignified ladies, teachers and guides for the Muslim nation. And people who came from far distances to hear a hadith from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, they came to hear hadith from the 12 Imams alayhim salam, not from ladies. And Imams alayhim salam also did not allow their ladies to, if they are present, and their ladies should come and answer questions. So that's ridiculous to expect that we should have a plethora of hadith from the mothers and wives of the Imams alayhim salam, like Aisha. Okay, so that was because Aisha was a public figure, and she did not care if men visited her house, because they did first rida'a kabir, and then they came to, at any rate. So that's your answer.
Yes, but the thing is that they have chosen the niyabat, but there were muhaddiseen of Imam al-Askari, which even are the mother of Imam al-Qaim said that you are muhaddis. There was a muhaddis over there even, but there are no hadith taken from even that. Even
so there are a few hadith narrated from Hakima, the aunt of Al-Imam al-Askari alayhi salam, daughter of Imam Jawad alayhi salam. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, God bless you. Who's the next caller?
Thank you.
Dilbar.
Okay, take care.
Dilbar, open your mic.
Good afternoon, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Where are you calling from, brother?
I'm calling from Melbourne, Australia.
Thank
How are
you,
you, sir?
for calling. Not bad. How about yourself?
I've got a question. I'm very good, sir. Thank you. I've got a question. So my background is from Quetta, Pakistan. So during the second night of Qadr, where we go out to do Zanjir Zani, sir, my question is, our local scholars, our local imams, they say that, you shouldn't be doing it. It's prohibited in Islam.
So Sina Zani is allowed, but Zanjir Zani is not allowed? That's what they say?
Yes, sir. That's what they say. They say, since you bleed, it makes you, dirty. You're not acceptable anymore.
So you bleed, there's water, right? There are showers.
There's everything, sir. However, they say that, since you're bleeding, even when you do sinazani,
so nobody comes. Nobody. If you have an open wound, if it's bleeding, so there is bandage, there's water, there's shower. So it's not that you become eternally unclean and you cannot clean yourself. So that reasoning is preposterous. The reason that the Shia scholars today disallow it is not because there's a hadith that you shouldn't do it. It's because Khamenei is against it. Khamenei is Wahhabi in his thought. You have to understand there's a Khamenei himself. He is not a very learned scholar. He's not even a scholar at all. I doubt he can read Quran properly. Khamenei has not seen like traditional Shia scholars training at all. This guy in the beginning was a communist, and then he never studied properly, and he's impressed deeply by Omari thinking, especially by Sayyid Qutb. Sayyid Qutb is the leader of the Ikhwanis who was hanged in Misr in 1963. And Khamenei has translated his tafsir into Farsi. Sayyid Qutb is staunchly against Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam and pro-Khilafah, like Maududi, and a deep thinker than Maududi. And he narrates in his book, in his tafsir, because his tafsir is a political tafsir about political Islam, how Muslims should establish Khilafah, and the West is bad, America is bad. These things that you hear. Political scholars that always talk about. So you should understand that Khamenei gives his ideology. That explains to you why Khamenei is so staunchly pro-Palestine, although there is no Shia in Palestine. Why Khamenei is so anti-USA. and he doesn't say anything about China, right? Have you heard ever Khamenei say a word about China?
No, he
persecuting
never does.
the Muslims and Xinjiang? No, never.
Yeah.
Yeah, never. He says a word about that. The U.S. government always talks about the Muslims in China, but Khamenei never speaks about them. But always about the U.S. Every speech is about the U.S. And I'm not saying the U.S. is good or bad. I'm saying that you should understand where he's coming from. So Khamenei, there's no hadith that you cannot do Zanjir Zani. Khamenei, because he is an Umari, all his ideology is Umari. He's a Wahhabi, Umari, Ikhwani. Not really Wahhabi, but like Ikhwani, more like Ash'ari. And the cloak of Shiism. And this is very common in Shia scholars. People think Shia scholars should represent the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Look, their dress code is not the dress of Ahlul Bayt alayhim. Their dress is the dress of the attire of Abbasis. So Shia scholars is totally wrong. Their religion is different. Their aqaid is different than Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. That's something that Shias have to understand. So because of this background of Khamenei, obviously Khamenei can say that Zanjir Zani is bad. He would say Sina Zani is also bad, but he cannot say that because then the uproar, the rejection would be very severe. Although he has said that in his speeches in Farsi, he says that Nawha should only be for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Not for the seventh Imam, not for the sixth Imam, not for Imam Ali alayhi salam, only for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He has said that. And he has said that you should not say Ya Hussein. This is clearly in his, on Iranian media, those who know Farsi, the Khamenei have said these words. So Shia scholars say this, don't do Zanjir Zani. But where is the hadith? It's because Khamenei says it's because Shia scholars clearly say that what Marja says, Rahbar says, is Hujjah for us. Hujjah, it's our law that we have to follow. So of course, now those of you who follow Maraji, of course, for you it's haram. Many things is haram. And many things is allowed. But those of us who follow Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, and the gham and the sorrow of the martyrdom of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, we do this and we do this both. Okay?
Yeah, so as I was sitting under one of the majalis last year in Muharram, one of these Shia scholars, he actually made me hate myself when he said that, when you do Zanjir Zani or doing Matam, as you're bleeding, if, God forbid, if you end up dying, you're going to go murtad from this world. And I had to question myself. I had to question my belief. I questioned the guy. I said, do you even know what you're preaching about? Do you even know what you're talking about? Because since I was a kid, since I was a 5-year-old kid, a 6-year-old kid, I've been doing this. And my beliefs are so strong in this thing that a preacher of yours cannot change it. That is why.
So Shia scholars is a tragedy. The situation of Shia scholars, because of their lack of information, because of them being not learned in religion, and they're being full carriers of misconceptions and misguidance and misinformation about Islam, is just tragedy. Is a tragedy. That's all I can say.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Have a great day.
God bless you. May Allah bless you. Thank you so much. Okay, next call. Shall we end the program? Okay, let's make this last call.
It's up to you, sir.
Yeah, last call.
Mirza, open your mic.
Mirza, what's happening, Mirza? Wake up. Alaikum salam, Mr. Mirza. Where are you calling from?
Hello. I'm from Australia, and I have a question. I'm Shia, alhamdulillah.
Okay, good.
Actually, I have a fasting, What happens if someday I skip the fasting?
So if it's obligatory for you to fast, then you are not allowed to not to fast. And if you don't fast, that will be a major sin. And then you will have to perform kafara, which means 60 days, 31 days of which have to be consecutively, is kafara, and 1 day qada. So I advise you not to skip fasting unless you're sick. If you're sick, feeling bad, fasting is not good for your health, then of course you should not fast. But if you're healthy and you can fast, you must fast. Is that understood, Mirza?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. With that note,
Yes, see you. Have a nice day.
let's say goodbye to everybody, okay? It's been a night, quite a show. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you, the callers. Thank you, Brother Abuzer, for being here. Thank you for your help. You're an enormous help.
You're
May Allah
welcome,
bless
sir.
you. Okay.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Thank you. Okay, brother. Now, may Allah bless you all. Thank you so much for watching my show. And then we are going to be here, inshallah, in 2 nights, okay? In 1 night. So today is Monday here in California. Wednesday, I'll be here again. Tomorrow night, every other night, we'll have an English show. We'll try to, okay? And from the sincerity of our hearts, with full love and devotion, let's say, Ya Hussein, subhanallah, subhanallah. Ya Hussein, Ya Haydar, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Subhanallah. Hasha lillah, ma hadha bashara. Subhanallah. Glory to the Lord. How beautiful are these names. How rejuvenating are these names. They're mentioned, calling them, invoking these names. Ya Hussein, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Ya Rasulullah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Ya Fatima al-Zahra, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ya Ali, Ya Hassan, Ya Hussein, Ya Mahdi, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Mahmud بحق محمد ويا عالي بحق علي ويا فاطر السماوات والأرضين بحق فاطمة الزهراء ويا محسن بحق الحسن ويا قديم الإحسان بحق الحسين نسألك ونقسمك صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل لوليك الفرج اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you for those of you who have donated to my channel and helped me financially. May Allah bless you and may Allah accept from you. And inshallah, we'll meet each other again with love of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, inshallah, if Allah wants. Good night. And good day to those of you who are in other time zones.